Hello. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Tonk7's TMI Tuesdays. Tonight I got my co-host Ali the Persian in the building, ready to go.
What's up? Let's go.
Yeah. What's up, man? Thank you everybody for joining in tonight. Everyone already in the comments. I already seen a great comment. I'm already loving it right now by the man Moss Sports Talk. I don't know if it's a male or female, that person, but they said Honky Tonk King tonight. That's what I'm
Moss.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who it is. I've never really talked to the person, but whoever you are,
It's Moss. He's one of our dudes. Moss is the man.
I love
Take
it.
that, Arsenal fan. LOL.
I love it. Everybody, we're in here.
Take
We're ready to
Arsenal
go.
fan.
It's I mean, I don't know. It's gender neutral, all these names. And just wanted to, before we continue tonight, just want to let everybody know today is
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, man.
It's my birthday today. Thank you.
How young are you?
Man. I'm not 40 yet. Let's just say that.
Oof.
I'm in my mid-30s.
Okay. Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll.
40
is the new 30, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, 30s is nice because you just got more money than you did in your 20s. That's, you might have more health problems, but it's starting to look a little better. You know what I mean? You're done with college, hopefully, got a career going, you got kids, wife, married, whatever you got. But thanks for everyone joining tonight. This is the first time I've ever done a podcast on my birthday. It's not the first time I've ever performed on my birthday, and this is kind of one and the other. But anyway,
You have a problem? Are you trying to say you have a problem performing?
No, I'm saying
You're already at that age?
I've been in a situation on my birthday where there's been a microphone in front of me and people are watching.
I got you. I'm kidding you. We were going along the whole age thing.
No.
What comes with the age? Get it?
But thank you everyone for joining. I'm really happy to be here. It's a great day. I had a nice day. I had some lunch with my grandfather. Got to open up some presents and stuff like that. And I'm ready to go. So what do we got first? Oh, how you doing, Ali? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm great. Excited to be here. TMI Tuesdays. You and
Nice.
Color usually put up a great show. I pretty much watch every Tuesday. So rock and roll.
Nice. What's up, everyone in the comments? Von Joe, Jimmy, Moss Sports, California, Color. Color's always in here doing something. And then we got Capitan in the back, always keeping it real, keeping it going. Remember to hit the like button, share, comment, tell us how you feel, tell us how you don't feel, whatever you like. And then let's of course do the rundown of all the shows. So we're always going to start the week off right. We're always going to start the week off right with Tonk7 TMI Tuesdays. And that usually goes between 9 and 10 p.m. We're kind of mixing it up. It's hard to always stay perfectly on schedule, until ESPN wants to throw us some contracts. And then after that, we're going to have color commentary on Thursdays, late night color commentary. And then we got Ali, our newest podcaster, Ali Late Night Exhale on Saturdays at 10 p.m. And kind of like an open discussion forum. From what I've seen, it's similar to color commentary. And then we got Capitan. He's always in here doing his thing. Mondays, Wednesdays, Sundays, Saturdays, on days, off days. He's always doing something. And especially during football season, he likes to call the game. So if you guys are looking for someone else to see calling the games and stuff, he's always doing something related to the Dolphins. So you can always find something new with the Dolphins or with football with his shows. And then of course our partners, Fanatics, we're still partners with them. There's links at the bottom if you're looking for some new sports gear. Go through there. And then we got our own gear. Where's my hat at? I should have brought my hat out for this one. We got hats, we got sandals, we got tank tops, we got beanies, and I don't know what we got a flag going on right now.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen if we can even order that yet, but I might have to get one of those soon. It's looking pretty cool.
Next payday, I'm gonna order one.
And
don't forget about
hats.
Don't forget about donating towards the channel or donating towards getting those yoga pants for Color.
Yeah.
Super chat should be live now.
And
should be
we got
on.
the Venmo, we got Cash App. Whatever. If you feel like donating, we really appreciate it. We're doing all this for free right now. Capitan has put a lot into this. He is like, I was there from the very beginning watching him do this, and he's really put a lot into it. But he loves this at the same time, just like Color with his yoga pants. We really love it. It's a warm kind of feeling. And so that's why we're here. We love doing this. We love sports. And I get to have my own show on here and have a little different take on everything. But here's the hat. This is the trucker style hat. I'm gonna probably get another one soon that has different colors. But yeah, it's a nice hat. It's it fits good, and the symbol looks great. I love that. Yeah. Like it just looks clean.
You can get two-tone colors, by the way. I saw, so I might actually do that. Like
I think you can get like a gray and black. That's kind of more like your version. That's more like low. I don't know. I only like the same kind of trucker hat. That's the only hats I like.
Trucker hats too.
But yeah. So what up, guys? And I am ready to get rolling with the topics. So what are we starting out with tonight here, Capitan? Joe Madden fired. Now, I have a special place for Joe Madden because he was the Rays coach, took him all the way to the World Series on basically a very low salary budget. And then, of course, he went and won with the Cubs. He's a good manager, but as far as the A's are concerned, no, not the Angels, not the A's, the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what can help them. I mean, they've had their ups and downs for years, and they have who's their best player on there? He's I think he plays outfield. Um, you can't win just with just one player, but I don't know what the Angels are doing, but I don't know how much Joe Madden has helped or hurt, but they've had a really long losing streak, and I could see why he got fired in the middle of a season. Yeah, 12-game losing streak. I don't know how much that falls on him compared to the teams of the establishment. Um, and it sucks because I like Joe Madden and I want to see him win, but I haven't really, as just a sports fan, when was the last time we saw the Angels really, really doing it? You know,
The last time I heard of the Angels, didn't they make a movie about that,
yeah,
like Angels in the Outfield
it's
or
like that's
something?
the only time I think about that team is like a movie in 94, 95 maybe. It's like, all
I
right,
think I
so
was like 10 or 12 or something.
if your biggest hit is a movie, then what are you guys doing? Come
That
on.
doesn't say too much, though. I
Not
mean,
just that, but the movie's whole premise was that they needed God's intervention
They
to win.
he needed
They
God to help.
needed God to help them win.
If it wasn't for the guy from Back to the Future, they
Yeah,
wouldn't
they'd
even
be
have a
nowhere. They don't
chance.
even have a pennant win without him.
to be 100% honest, my team that I root for, even though I'm not the biggest baseball fan, our biggest hit is Major League 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 and 5 now at this point.
Oh, for the Cleveland Indians?
Well, now they're the Cleveland Guardians, but yeah. So,
Oh, they changed their name?
yeah, along with what happened with
I
the
saw
Washington
that.
Commanders, they slowly got hit with that too, and they
Yeah.
decided to become the Cleveland Guardians now. Um,
Yeah. I
it,
mean,
it,
their
yeah.
logo wasn't exactly the best way to describe a Native American. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the issue that I have with it, and do understand, I'm partially Native American myself, so
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm part
Sweet.
Cherokee. So for me, I didn't have an issue with it because I don't see that they were depicting them in that kind of in a like a racial type of manner in any way. I thought they were honoring them, if anything. But they even took even before they changed the name, they took the Native American mascot off everything they have, all their logos and everything.
Mm,
So all they had was the word Indians written on everything, or an
mm.
I or a C for a Cleveland. That's all they had. I don't see what the issue of just leaving it at that was. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I don't.
Interesting.
That's just my opinion, and someone that is more fully Native American than I am may have a different outlook on it. And I
Yeah.
hope someone comes on and maybe tells us, how they feel. But at the same time, I don't see what it was. I don't think it was being depicted in a negative manner. Is basically what I was trying to say.
Yeah, recently they probably weren't. We don't know how it was when it first started. And then we saw
Definitely
in the
true.
comments talking about the Braves. I am okay with the term Braves because that is like describing the Native Americans rather than just calling them Indians.
Real quick.
Like Cleveland, like as far as like capturing them as a mascot and stuff like that, I don't necessarily see a problem with Braves more than like Redskins or Indians, like
So the thing is with the Redskins, maybe they should have changed the name, but they should have kept the logo in the and everything like that because I think it was a Blackfoot leader or something. I know one of the leaders of the tribes of the Native American tribes, like it was drawn by a Native American for the
it was.
Redskins. Yeah, it was okayed by like a chief of the tribe, all that kind of stuff. Like they went ahead and had a lot of stuff done over like with that, trying to get the name to keep for Washington at the time. To me, how is it not seen as a side of celebrating their heritage in some way?
Mhm.
And now it's almost going to wash something away that people will forget about, and it's not a good thing. That part of the heritage should have been celebrated, not seen as a negative connotation on them. And
If
granted,
anything,
they should have been on a better football team, but you know what I'm saying. But my point is that there's no
here,
representation if there isn't nothing to represent it.
yeah, and here's another thing. In my opinion, I think Cleveland had more of a stance to stand on keeping the name the Indians than a lot of other teams
Oh,
because of the amount
absolutely.
of
I
history.
mean,
We're talking about amount of history of Native American history that is in Ohio alone.
hmm.
That's what I grew up with. It's all over. There's not a city or a county or a point in that state that doesn't have some type of Native American history. So
It's
that's
like
why I
that
think
here.
it should have been kept. That's just my opinion, though. Go ahead. Go
What,
ahead.
the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
really. I don't see it as a negative
Well,
thing at all. Now, you do have a
maybe like
point.
name it
Go ahead.
after an actual tribe.
Like
Or
the
I don't know.
Seminoles kind of thing.
I
That's
mean,
what I
Sure.
was thinking. Yeah, name it after a tribe, like
exactly.
call them like the Blackfoot or something,
Yeah.
or the Cherokees or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. Would have been
Yeah,
smart.
I think that's better than just saying
Look
Indians.
at
I
how
mean,
the
that's
Seminoles have it.
Yeah.
They have a
yeah.
representation,
You
something
know,
like
see what
that.
you mean.
we
I
have
see
a
what you mean.
lot and it's like that here in Seattle. Like the term Seattle was from a chief of a Native American tribe here in the PNW, Chief Seattle. And then we
Really
had, yeah, like
cool.
Snoqualmie Falls, there's so many names here, and it's all based upon Native Americans. It's like that a lot in Florida too. Florida has a lot of Native American
Tons,
names.
buddy. You know that. I thought for sure they would have just kept the logo and called them the Washington Natives, and it would have been fixed right there.
So I would actually I would have been okay with that. And that's interesting. I didn't know that it was drawn up by a Native American, their symbol.
Yeah.
I had no
And it
idea.
was
And
okayed, all that stuff, man. Like
well,
that's the
Dan
thing.
Snyder he actually put out a um kind of a what is it called? He I can't think of the term. I always forget things. He
It's
put out
all the electronics. They literally fry your noodle while you're in front
yeah,
of them.
what 5G killing me. What is it called? He put out so he wanted feedback from Native Americans about his team and his symbol. And from what he got back, it was actually they didn't have an issue with it. And he carried that with him for a long time that, hey, all these tribes all verified that they don't have a problem with the Redskins name or the symbol or anything like that. Um, and like, I don't know, I like when they changed it to Commanders, I'm like, I don't know, like,
Anthony, that comment that you just made, that's regarding the Washington Redskins. The Cleveland Indians have never depicted skin color except for their mascot, which had a similar
I
color
mean,
face.
I definitely think Redskins is
They
very
didn't put the color of their
derogatory.
skin in the name of the team, and I agree with you. That is derogatory.
That's why I
Um,
said they should have just changed the
The
name and
natives,
here's
I
kept
would,
here's
I,
everything.
that would,
my
Natives
oh,
would have been the
honestly,
best way to go about it.
I,
Try calling
I,
the NFL,
they
calling them
were
natives.
they
I
were
think that would
actually
have been a great
considering at one point they did have the nickname as the Wahoos in reference to Chief Wahoo, so it was actually a specific chief. But they
Or call them
again
the
turned
Comanche. That
down
would have
on
been
that.
cool
So
too. The
that would be kind of
Comanche, the
yeah, that would be
Cherokee, the
I mean,
natives.
yeah.
honestly, I like representation of what this country was in our sports and stuff like that. It kind of keeps it alive, honestly, because I mean, I have a couple friends of mine that are like 50% Seminole Indian, and they are of darker complexion and stuff like that. And I just guess never was really adult enough to have these kind of conversations with them when I was still living in Florida. But I would really love to get their opinion of this and stuff. And actually, this is so interesting that this kind of came, this subject came up tonight, and then you having Native American, part of your family history, and just get some feedback about this. I mean, because we have a lot of things in this country, especially with sports, that are named after Native Americans, and like I don't think that it's necessarily all, racist or prejudice, but of course some things could change, just like you said. But it's very, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess like it looks like they're just changing it, as it is. I don't know if the
The
Braves
other I've also
have
heard
a
that some of the complaints have been coming from non-Native American organizations that have no like connection to Native Americans as well. So I don't know how true that is, but that is also rumored to what happens to the Cleveland Indians. But I don't know.
And honestly, I think that if an organization is going to take on the name or brand
Mhm.
of like a culture or Native Americans, they should kick some back to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, if you want to
Like an
use their
NIL deal.
yeah, an NIL,
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
likeness
go,
and
man.
shit. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, yo, if you want to use our name, image, and likeness,
Capitalism, bitches.
I don't know, man. I honestly would rather see. I wish we had more Native Americans in our politics.
Mhm.
You know, in our Congress, in our committees, and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of actual representation. Um, and you know, it's hopefully we'll get more of that. I think Joe Biden has done a decent job of. I think he has a Native American on his cabinet.
He does. He does.
Yeah, and I mean that's the first time I ever heard of this. So I guess we'll see how it goes, but it's just real interesting how this shift is happening and things are changing. Poor Joe Madden talked about him for like 2 seconds. and then like this turned into this whole other, but hey, this is great. This is why I have this show right here. Is so we get raw conversations, you know, emotion, and like I mean, look at the comments alone. As soon as we started talking about this stuff, the comments started blowing up, and I love it. And I'm sorry that I can't read everything everybody is saying. It's hard to. But thank you for for chiming in and having an opinion about this. I mean, I think all of us here were born here, so being here, we have some kind of a say, you know, because it's part of our lives. But but having this change and shift and is a good thing, I think. And shout outs to all the Native Americans we still have in this country that have reservations and are hopefully getting some benefit from what happened in the past and stuff like that. I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Deborah. I met her when she used to live up here in Seattle, and she has a couple different um, uh, Native American that she's related to, close to like Mexico areas down there. And she told me about that. She did like the 23andMe or whatever that is, and she learned
Yeah.
actually a lot.
My brother did that recently. We found out a lot of information, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it soon too because I've already been confirmed by my family members that I'm related to Lewis and Clark, so I'm related to William Clark, like straight relation, and I even took the Oregon Trail. So
That's pretty that's
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean I literally took the Oregon Trail when I left Florida.
Going back to Mr. Madden though, Joe Madden. What happened in Chicago that he left the Cubs? I mean, I was looking at his record and what, for the past several years, even when he was with Tampa, and it seemed like he was always in the race, man. I mean, I don't understand like why they just let him go after like 4 years. They're like, bye,
Yeah, I actually don't know. I didn't even really realize he was the coach of
He's
the
the guy
Angels.
that brought them to the promised land for
Dude, he
after
brought
100
them
years, bro.
yeah.
No.
Only 1 year after it was in freaking Back to the Future. That's why they fired him. He said he can't even line it up with a 1986 movie. Get out of here, dude. So I actually was born in Georgia, grew up in Florida, and then I lived in Oregon and Washington, just so you guys know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I think Joe Madden, I think he just kind of gets tired of organizations. I mean, he took the Rays to the World Series, and then he ended up leaving. He wins a World Series with the Cubs, and then ended up leaving. Didn't really do much in Anaheim, and I think that's way more on the Angels than it is him. But of course, he has something to do with it. But I mean, I just like I said, I can't even remember hearing about them winning, even with their who was on that team. It's what's his name, the white guy. What is his name? He gets a lot of home runs, and he plays outfield. Oh well. But so what we got next up? What's up, Q? What's up, Anthony? AA, Moss
What's up,
Sports, what's
everybody?
up? So what we got going on for next? Yeah, so this is interesting. I was just skimming through articles and I saw this that figure skating minimum age to 17. I think that's for like the Olympics or any kind of like professional type of setting to where they can compete. Um, Honestly, I'm kind of just getting tired of like anything that puts young people,
Mm-hmm.
and figure skating is kind of like on body figures and stuff like that. But like, like beauty pageants and like for kids, like just when I saw this, I was like, good, because I think children, there's too much crazy stuff that happens with kids and stuff like in that when they're involved in organizations
So
at
I
young ages.
yeah, so I don't know anything about this. So you're saying that there's a minimum age of 17 now for Olympic
So
the Olympic
I
figure
should have
skating?
stayed on the article. I saw it when I was searching around. Minimum age for figure skating. Yeah, to 17. So Olympic figure skating minimum age raised to 17. And I guess there was some kind of controversy in China.
Mm.
But honestly, I think they should start doing away with a lot of things that involve children, especially women, because there's just too much uh, exploitation. Like there's just too much exploitation, and I am 100% with making even 18. Um, so I don't know why. I guess maybe she injured herself. I
Well,
don't know
if it
why.
has to do with China and even Russia or countries along that nature, they 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 implement the Olympics and get their children set up for the Olympics like from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like they're always putting out a gymnastic team. In fact, I think the gymnastic team, there was a big thing a couple years back that they were like 9-year-olds. You know what I mean? It's like really they start them very, very young, you know? So I can see if they're doing it for those reasons, then I could see it. But then in that same aspect, if they're gonna do it for figure skating, they need to do that for other sports as well.
Yeah, I think it should be throughout the whole thing, like a minimum age. And actually, Olympics was supposed to be for amateurs. It's not technically supposed to be for professionals. Like it wasn't. I think the first dream team that we had for basketball, that was new to the Olympics to have a bunch of professionals. It was supposed to be amateurs.
Mhm.
And that's why wrestling got taken out of the Olympics, because something with professional wrestlers, I mean, like, like they had Macho Man Randy Savage in the Olympics or something like that. But it was years ago. I think that was like they didn't have Macho Man, but I'm just using him as an example
Yeah.
because they ended wrestling is taken out of the Olympics. And if you think of the Olympics, one person versus one person, you can't get really more Olympics than that. I mean, that's how the Olympics started, was me versus you, and we see who wins. So like to take wrestling out of it completely,
Mhm.
I was I I don't even that's how the Olympics started, was sports like that. So
But now it's back though, I think, right? They have
I
wrestling again, I from what I
they
understand.
do is wrestling.
I know they took it out temporarily, but I think they may have
So
put it back in.
all right, 20 Olympics 2020, ILC removes wrestling from Olympic program.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna look that up.
Because it was in 2016. No, it was in 2013. I remember I was at a concert and I already knew about this ahead of time. I saw a dude that says bring wrestling back to the Olympics. And I was like, yeah, dude, what the hell? And it was this big wrestler kind of guy. But I know that it was because it had something to do with like professionals
Mm-hmm.
being in the Olympics, but I don't know. It was very strange. Like I don't know. It was just very strange on
See, then I
why they
found,
actually did it.
yeah, and then what's weird is I found in the 2020 Olympics. When did they remove it? Was it 2021?
I know it was removed in 2013, so I guess that would be
Because
for
in
the
2020 Olympics
2016
they
Olympics.
had, yeah, because the 2020 Olympics had wrestling.
Well, it's I
Maybe
don't
they
know.
just temporarily moved it.
I don't watch the Olympics enough to like be able to verify that, but I guess they
Mhm.
brought it back in. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was removed permanently. I mean, why am I seeing this in Olympics 2020? It says Olympics has been dropped as the International Olympic Committee on Tuesday that wrestling was being removed for the 2020 games. So,
Then
but
I'm looking
they
at,
didn't happen in 2020, right? Because of COVID. So didn't it happen a year after? Was that why it
yes,
was
maybe
back in?
yeah, maybe, because I'm looking at it here. It says wrestling at the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo featured two disciplines, freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling. And then they even have the matches and then who won gold, silver, and bronze, like the whole list.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why how are we having such conflicting information? How do you have something that says who won and I have something that says it didn't happen? That's like that Sinbad movie, Shazam. We all saw that movie, but now it's not real, right?
Got Mandela effect.
Like, I saw that movie, the one with Shaq and the one with Sinbad. Okay? You're not going to tell me it didn't happen. And how are you going to have the Mandela effect? You go to prison for 20 years? Is that the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Go to prison and turn out to be a nice guy?
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do. Flip out, man.
I'm not. I'm not going to flip out. Unless you tell me that there's an article that says there was no wrestling in 2020 Olympics, and then an article that says who won at wrestling. What are you doing to me, internet? What are you doing to me over here?
What irritates me, if they were going to fully like pull it out of the Olympics altogether, then it's no longer the Olympics. Wrestling, honestly, was one of the founding fathers of the Olympic
Oh,
Games.
I know.
So
You know what's funny is Olympics first started out as it was all men, go figure, and they had to do it naked. And women couldn't even watch. It was only men who watched. I mean, who can I don't like I don't know. I don't know how you come up with that concept. I mean, it's not going to make a difference if I have a loincloth on or not. Okay?
Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference too much.
Like, who came, like, how, like, we got to do it naked. We got to do it naked. Can't be no stick 'em. Ain't going to be no stick 'em around here. This isn't the baseball. This isn't the baseball in the 2016.
You know, if you think about it, though, by doing it without any type of clothing or gear or anything, it probably hurts more too. You know, because when you grab somebody and you get that skin rub going on, you know what I mean? I know it sounds funny, but no, I'm being serious though. At the
No,
same
I
time,
saw
you know?
my. It sounds honestly a little dangerous. Okay, we got equipment flowing around, going around. I mean, I can't even keep myself tight when I'm trying to run You want me to run around? I'm trying to run around. All right, and we got to wrestle? I don't know. Like, who came up with this concept? It's like
Introducing ourselves. I am Hans. I'm Franz. And we want to pump you up.
it's like the movie Beowulf when he first fights Grendel and he gets naked, he starts crawling around, and he fights Grendel. Is that where they came up with the god? Beowulf did it. Beowulf did it. I read it and I saw the movie.
Are you sure it happened?
You know what? I don't even want to hear. I saw the movie. Okay, I'm thinking I'm looking into the camera right here. I saw the movie. And Capitan saw it too. We talked about it the other day. So another NIL law, what Manzano was saying. So I keep seeing a comment to ask us to read back what we said before. Anthony, just repost what you said because I'd like to see it. And I don't know, you guys are coming up with all these names: Orlando Space Cadets, Gainesville Goat Herders. What sports names are these for? The Tampa Bay Hulksketeers? What are these sports names for? What's going on here? Is this for?
Hey, look at AA's comment. Arkansas button hookers. Really?
The Akron Rubber Ducks?
If anything, it should be the Chicago Rubber Ducks. You ever been there on St. Patty's Day? They pour a crap ton of rubber ducks in the river.
We got there's a lot of areas in Florida where it's a lot of like retired people. There's a place called Sun City. Mm-hmm. Call it the Sun City Forgetfuls. The Sun City electric scooters. So what we got next? What we got next up? Oh, so this I don't know how touchy of a subject this is for people, but I am 100% for representation of who you are, of your cause, or what you believe in. And the Rays not wanting to wear, so it was specifically Rays players, and this was a tough subject because there's a lot of members of the LGBTQ members. There's a lot of members of that community in Florida, and especially in St. Pete, and that's where the Rays field is. It's in St. Petersburg, Florida. They didn't want to wear, I think it was maybe a rainbow flag or something with that, standing for that, because of their religious take. Honestly, I don't necessarily have a problem with them not wanting to wear it because it's freedom of religion, freedom of who you are. I mean, I don't see this as an actual problem. But at the same time, like, I think it should have been addressed just don't even, I don't know, like, it's almost a difficult subject, but if somebody doesn't want to wear that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. You know, like, if that's what they believe, if this is what they support, this is what they practice, and that goes against it, I don't know what to say. I mean, this is what they're wearing, but I don't necessarily think that they're bad for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's your freedom to wear it or not. I mean, it's a uniform, so you have to wear a uniform, but I don't know. It's just an interesting topic for me.
So I have a take, but I don't think baseball fans are going to like my take. All right. And I'm going to use another sport as an example. So soccer, at the club level, even at national level, is an inclusive sport. They're the whole FIFA, which is the federation behind soccer, international soccer around the world. They want to make the sport inclusive, which means it's for everybody. Everyone can come and find a spot in it. You know what I mean? And that starts from race to sexual origin or whatever it doesn't matter what part of group you are. We have a place for you, right? Baseball, on the other hand, has never been an inclusive sport. And that goes down to the history of baseball. Look at all of the African Americans in the early ages of baseball and what they went through and had to go through to become part of the game and be respected for that.
Yeah, they
You know
had
what I
their
mean?
own league. They couldn't even. They had to
Yeah.
have their own league to play.
Yes. Even during World War II, I think it was either World War I or World War II. The women had their own league too. They even made a movie about it, so I know it happened. just saying.
I saw it. I saw it.
Even then, they were considered a joke at some point. You know what I mean? And they had to fight for their own league. And you know what I'm saying? It's never been an inclusive sport. And that's the downfall of what happens in baseball. Now, I understand that they have their religious beliefs or whatever it may be. And let's be honest, baseball, there's a really good Hispanic side of it. And we know as all my Hispanic friends, a lot of them are Catholic or they're very religious. You know what I mean? I get that. I understand. I think each player should have had a choice rather than being a team's choice. They said, "Okay, I'll wear the rainbow flag. You don't have to if you don't want to." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been okay. Now, the United States, going back to soccer, the United States national team, the entire team, both men and women's side, their numbers are the LGBTQ flag and the rainbow flag. That's what that hats off is for. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what background you have. They still wear it in representation because soccer is trying to represent the world rather than one community. So, um, I see it their way, but I also think that in baseball, if it's really that much of an issue, just give every player a choice. They can wear it or not wear it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I have this right here.
Mhm.
It's this is it's a teal ribbon for ovarian cancer
Mhm.
because my mom died of ovarian cancer.
I'm sorry.
I have a tattoo of this. I have a bunch of shirts of this. I have pins. If you don't want to wear it, I ain't got no problem with that.
Mhm.
If I don't want to wear skin cancer ribbon, you're not going to get mad at me. You can't be getting mad at people because they don't want to wear a certain flag. It
Yeah.
should be for a situation like this, it should be up to them or not.
Mhm.
I and like with soccer,
Mhm.
basically saying, all right, well, this is it or nothing. I mean, this community is becoming more understood
Mhm.
and more broadcasted. And so we're going to start seeing this happen probably more and more.
Yeah,
I
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
I
ahead.
think it's it should be more up to a personal decision.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have a problem wearing it, but then I'll want to be able to maybe wear a Black Lives Matter
Mhm.
or a cancer ribbon or Save the Children ribbon or No Guns ribbon. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if you're going to force us to wear this one, well then we should be able to have all these other ones.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. It's everyone's decision. Even in soccer, like in the Premier League, in England, the players right before kickoff, like literally, the referee blows the whistle, and then everybody kneels down, just as a representation to their fight against racism, or to make people aware of it. And then recently, there's been players that don't want to necessarily kneel. They want to do something else because they feel that the kneeling doesn't give it its justice, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
like, they have players that will, like, grab their badge of their jersey and point towards the badge of their team, or they'll do something else in addition to that. So, I do think that it should be the player's choice, um, and maybe they can do their own thing in representation, towards it. But if let's say I'm on the Tampa Bay Rays and I wanna wear the rainbow flag, I'll wear it, you know what I mean? If the guy next to me doesn't want to, that's on him.
I know, and it's like it. I feel like when they broadcasted this, like it kind of painted the Rays, as like anti, that community. It's like, that's not what it is. Like, just because they don't want to wear it doesn't necessarily mean they're against it. I mean, maybe they actually are because of their religion, but just because someone doesn't want to wear something, you can only you can't really hold them accountable for that.
Here's the other thing. Do we know it's the players' team as a team decision, or is it the organization's decision? Do
I
we know
didn't
that?
look too far into it. I just kind of saw the article.
Yeah, because
Um,
here's the other part of it too, and I'm not trying to start an argument on your show because I
no,
know
no,
this
you're good,
probably
dude.
will. We can save it for another show, but this could also go into the political world and what's going on in Florida and in politics right now. So that could also be part of what this is part of.
Like
That's
a
why I'm asking.
protest or
Well, recently in Florida, I know you're in Washington. So in Florida recently, there's been some laws passed that affects the LGBTQ
oh,
community.
you mean like in sports for transgenders?
No, I'm talking about in schools primarily. That they've taken there's a strong stance on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that this is directly related to that, but if you think of it as an organization's decision, that organization could, and I'm not saying they are, but they could be on one side of that argument. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And
Now,
if they
yeah,
support certain political parties, that might be their way of supporting them. If you know what I'm saying.
and it's like, and this is where it starts. It's like almost a slippery slope. Like,
Mhm.
you should let people represent it on their own.
Mhm.
Getting so involved, I don't necessarily think it is a problem to get so involved, but if you're going to be involved and there's people in your organization that don't, you can't be you can't hold them like accountable for that. Like,
Mhm.
this is what we believe in, this is what we choose, this is what we talk, it's like there's so much behind this, and I just don't want to see people outed just because they don't want to wear a flag on their shirt. I mean,
Mhm.
it doesn't it it only it just take it as that. Don't, like,
Mhm.
if you try to bring it up more than that, it's this conversation can go back and forth all day long. But
Yeah.
we need people to be able to, with stuff like this, have a little bit more choice on their own. And then once this starts happening more and more, and there's education about it and there's more understanding, then maybe it'll be better for everybody in the long run.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for that community, for people
Mhm.
who aren't in that community, for people who talk about this, you know what I mean? Like, to try to take a take on it and not be held in a certain way, just like, hey, I wear this all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and I wanted to, so I saw a couple comments in here. Um, I had no problem with Kaepernick kneeling at all. I think he should have been allowed to as much as he wanted. Tebow was kneeling, but it was for abortion because he's anti-abortion. He said, "I can't kneel. I can't support a flag that allows abortion." That's why Tebow was kneeling. Kaepernick was kneeling because of police brutality and social justice and stuff like that. So that's fine. I didn't care. When people got so mad at Kaepernick for that, it's like, who cares? I mean, if for to have that much emotion about it, dude, you got too much stuff to worry about. If you're worried about one guy, he's standing up for what he's believing by kneeling. He's not saying screw the flag or screw the veterans, or it had nothing to do with that. He's saying, look,
Look,
these people are
as a former veteran myself, I didn't. Well, I'm a veteran. I'm always going to be a veteran. I'm sorry, I should have
former
said it that
veteran.
way. You know what I meant. Essentially, I didn't take any offense to it at all. If anything, how I think about it, my family members fought for this country, and my family members have died for the freedoms that is our liberties to have. So it's his liberty and freedom to have the opportunity to stand up what he believes in. And by us hating on that, that's basically putting a middle finger up to everybody that's died for this country.
You are absolutely 150% right, dude. I am so glad you said that. I'm so glad you just said it that way, because that is what they died for for somebody to stand up for what they believe in, to be able to have a platform, to be able to do that and feel secure about it and not feel like you're going to be put in jail. We used to put scientists in jail because they said, no, the earth goes around the sun. And it's like, now it's okay to say that, right? But
And before anybody jumps the gun and starts saying, well, that's just going to allow anybody to do anything to the flag. No, he's not. I'm not saying do anything to the flag. What I'm saying is kneeling is not a problem. If you remember in the Middle Ages, in the medieval times, people kneeled to the flag. They kneeled to their king and queens. You know what I mean? They didn't stand at attention constantly. Every time I go to church, I kneel in front of the cross. You know what I'm saying? So I feel as a sign of respect and honor, not as anything else. Now, if you're gonna say it's okay to do other things, then yeah, I can see your point. And I'll be there right with you. But this, I completely agree with that.
and it's
Yeah.
like that was one of the most peaceful protests you
Mhm.
can have. Would you don't want people to destroy things. You don't want them to burn a flag. You don't want them to burn down a building, but you also don't want them to kneel. Like,
Mhm.
how is somebody supposed to protest? Like, what is the allowed? You know what I mean? Like, where is good and where is bad? If I will never support someone burning down a building
Mhm. Yeah, I agree
as
with you.
far as a protest. I will never support that.
Mhm.
If someone wants to kneel or do something peacefully, very, very peacefully, and has a lot of emotion behind it, I can only respect that, especially if it's something that has merit. You know what I mean? So man, this is really good show tonight, man. Really good show tonight. I'm really liking this. And Tebow was the man. I don't have a problem with him not liking abortion. I am not against abortion at all. I mean, to a certain time, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I'm the same way as you. I'm not fully against it, but I'm not
Like,
saying it.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're 6
uh,
months pregnant, look, I can't get behind that. You know
mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So
completely.
this is a touchy subject, but that's what he is against, and I
Mhm.
don't have a problem with him kneeling, and I'll always support Tebow. I love the hell out of Tebow. He does a lot for what he believes in. He's an awesome dude. I mean, he kicks ass in football, and he never has a bad thing to say. And man, whew, we are on it tonight. Even Capitan, I know Capitan back there just nah, he's good too. Um, so man, we are getting into it tonight. I am loving this. Happy birthday, me.
Yeah, man.
See this? This is my boomstick!
Okay,
Yeah.
that could be taken as a different type of protest, which will be coming up
All
soon.
right. Calm down there. You're about to send him to jail. I remember Capitan
That's
freaking
another thing going
loved
on
that
right now.
scene, dude. When I watched that movie with him for the first time, he was all excited. Like, he was all excited for that. Like,
Mhm.
watching the end of Evil Dead 2, like,
Mhm.
you can tell he's starting to get all excited because he goes through that portal and like lands at the it like lands in the 1400s or whatever.
Yeah.
Groovy.
It's speaking of that movie, there was, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't watched the movie in such a long time. I really should go back and watch it. There's a book, some type of necromancing book of some kind.
The Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
Yes. That book has been referenced in so many movies outside of the movie itself. It's not even funny.
Well, they did a whole season of True Blood.
Yeah, they did a whole season of
Because
True
the
Blood
lady
based
was
on it.
controlling dead things, so she can control dead birds and stuff. She could control vampires. That was a
Yeah.
dope. That wasn't my favorite season, but that was a dope ass concept to have a season. Like, if you could control vampires, like, hey, look out! Like,
Yeah.
the scariest things on the planet. Like,
Yeah.
you can control those things. Like dope ass concept. And the season wasn't that good. They didn't do a real good job with that concept. But like the concept itself, shit, I should have brought a freaking series. But yeah, man.
They reference the book itself, not like by name, but you'll see it laying in the background of different movies and
yeah.
different
The
stuff.
original Evil Dead is actually really good. And you can get like an enhanced version. I have it on Blu-ray, and they actually give you the option to look at like the original versus like to redone. And it's not super better. Like it's still like it's still low budget as hell, but
Mhm.
it's you can see the difference. You can see the kind of HD lens that they got across it. Um
Mhm.
and yeah, True Blood was a good season. Best season was season 3 when they introduced Russell.
Yeah,
And I
I would
like
agree with that.
when he comes in there and he sticks his fist to the guy and grabs the microphone.
Yeah, True
It's
Blood
like,
was pretty cool. I liked it.
yeah. Um, let's see, what were we on? All right,
Didn't like
so
the
yeah,
ending, though.
Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, HBO, just real quick before we go to the next topic, HBO always does that with any of their mainstay series. Game of Thrones, I think there's a show called 6 Feet Under. The very last season of every major series they have, they rush it. They do it so you dislike it so much that they can come out with another series and already get you hooked, so you forget about that one.
Yeah,
That's
they
what they
did
do
that
on
with
purpose.
Dexter, and it wasn't really all that better
Yeah, I
either.
think Dexter got picked up by a different carrier now, right? Or with someone else now?
No, it was still Showtime. It was
They
still
got a
Showtime.
whole new season of Dexter, and it's
Have you
good.
seen it?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
I
Freaking
haven't
Dexter!
seen
I
it.
love Dexter, bro.
Yeah.
Love Dexter.
Oh
But,
yeah, so did I. I mean,
yeah.
honestly,
Love
the
it.
first 2 seasons of Dexter
My
is
favorite
some
show
of
of all time is Dexter. It's
the
the
first
best
2
show ever.
seasons,
Mhm.
1 and 2, and then season
5 or
7.
something.
No,
Yeah, one of those.
7.
They were
With
all
the
Even
really
7
good.
was pretty good. I've watched
with the
almost all of
mob.
them. Mhm.
Yeah. And then
I liked-
season 1 and 2, you can tell that season 1 and 2 were written together because it even does like the
Yep.
beginning scene where he's like cooking food and stuff. That was at the end of the second
I don't know.
season.
I liked when he had the wife. He was trying to become a regular person, and then that one
Yeah.
serial killer kills his wife. I love the whole thing. It's all really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of had to do that to keep the show going well. I think they kind of had to do that to make it interesting. But man, the first 2 seasons of that show is just like, oh my gosh, man. It was just like, it was just, I was addicted. Like, it was crazy because, like, what's really interesting was that was the first season of that show was the last, like, season of a show I watched with my mom.
Mhm.
And she, like, I remember the last episode, my mom was like, oh my gosh, this show is so good. And she never got to watch the second season. But,
My wife got me hooked. She put it on one day and I
yeah.
started watching it. And the next thing you know,
Yeah,
she comes
it's,
back
yeah.
out. I'm like, I'm on season 5 already.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I can't put it down. But, like, what was interesting was I was able to watch season 1 through 7
Mhm.
kind of all in a row because it was already out.
Mhm.
Just in time. I finished the 7th season just in time in 2013 for the 8th season to come out. So, like, I got to, like, binge watch everything just in time for the last season to come out. I had, like, a month off. I was
Mhm.
like, that's crazy to, like, line it up perfectly like that. But anyways, so Brittany Griner,
Mhm.
and I don't want to talk. I don't want to say she should have known better, but I mean, be in Russia and have something like that on you trying to go to the airport, like, man,
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm out of the loop. What did she do?
she had like a vape cartridge on her that had. They say it's hash, and that's like it's almost like marijuana. It's just a different kind of plant.
Okay.
But she had a hash vape cartridge on her going into the airport in Russia because she was over there. So this brings up another good concept is that she was over there playing basketball because women basketball players here, they don't make a lot of money compared to if you go overseas where it's a lot more, they make a
Mhm.
lot more money. So she was in Russia playing basketball, and I think she was coming home and she had one of those cartridges. I don't know if she didn't know she had it on her or not. But like to mess around with anything like that in a communist country, man, and like she's still stuck in jail over there. I mean, that's got to be terrifying to be stuck in jail in a country that's at war with another country, and especially everything that's happening to Russia right now, with like everyone pulling away their businesses and all these sanctions and stuff like that. And that, I think that's one of the real big reasons why they haven't been able to get her home yet. And I mean, man, these communist countries, dude, I mean,
Well,
they can.
another thing you can look at also is that the Russian government and their whole like judicial system is corrupted in the first place.
Oh
So
yeah, I would
so you have
honestly. Canada is the only other country I would be willing to go to jail in besides the United States, or maybe England or something. But like any other country besides the United States, like I would not want to go to jail there. I mean, I would be
I
terrified.
don't necessarily. I'm not going to say that I would trust England's judicial system either. I've heard recently, after doing some research, that the way they do their trials and everything, like a lot of stuff, how they do it, it's weird. They interview how do I put it? It's they interview backwards. So instead of, like, for example, let's say I'm suing you, right? And my lawyer interviews me first, and then your lawyer gets to cross-examine me, right? It's backwards. Their lawyer gets to cross-examine me first, and then my lawyer gets to talk to me. In addition to it, there's a lot of things that we allow as considered evidence that they don't over there. So in our system and how we do things.
I'm
So
just
I don't
saying,
know.
like,
It's kind of weird how they
they
do things
mostly
there. I don't
speak
know.
English. Just the fact that,
Well,
like, that's
yeah.
what I kind of mean with that. The
Mhm.
language barrier alone. You know what I
Well, a lot of
mean?
those countries now, they teach English in schools, so I don't really think that
Yeah,
would be so much of
dude.
an issue.
Almost every other country knows the heck out of English, and we don't.
Mm,
Dude, I came out of high school not knowing nothing.
mhm,
I learned more Spanish just going and hanging out in Tijuana
mhm.
for a day and having to navigate, you know, the street signs
I need
and
to
the
do that. I
food
need to really
stores,
learn
dude.
Spanish.
I tell you what, man, if you just go like I was learning Spanish like
Mhm,
quick, like it was crazy how fast I was learning Spanish being
mhm,
over there. I could just see if I moved there, I would learn it pretty fast. And Spanish isn't that difficult of a language. It's one of the easier languages versus like
mhm.
Russian is, or a language that has like symbols like Chinese or,
Well,
you know,
I'm bilingual myself, and I know how to speak English, and I can speak Farsi fluently. Um,
Farsi.
yeah, I can speak Farsi fluently. Yes.
Dude, you should
Um,
be working for the NSA or FBR. Farsi?
yeah, yeah, I can speak
Dude,
Farsi
there's
fluently.
like, let's say,
Um,
dude, if this many people, all right, if this many people speak English, this many people speak Farsi. That's like dude, that's like, I was told in college,
mhm.
you're the only other person I've ever heard say that language.
Really?
When I took government in college, my
Mhm.
teacher was like, look, if you want to make some money, learn Farsi
That's true.
and
That's
just go
true.
be a translator.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we like you on our show, but if you chose to just go move and be a translator for Farsi, I ain't gonna be mad at you. I like, dude, Farsi? I
Yeah, it's kinda for me, my heart's not into being an interpreter. It wasn't my I'm not into it as much as, like, what people would think. I know the money's there, trust me, I know.
it
Um,
is.
yeah, yeah,
Farsi, that's crazy.
yeah.
I've never met anybody
My
that
friend
can
asked me the
speak.
other day, it's like, "Why aren't you working at the United Nations or something?" I'm
I
like,
know, man. That
"Maybe I
language, dude,
should, I
is
don't know."
I mean, I don't know why specifically that language, if it's like hard to learn or if you can't really find places to learn it. I don't know what it is, but I just know it's a valuable language to learn. That's
Well,
interesting.
it's not very hard to learn once you get the basic, like, basic words, it's really easy to put together. One day you should talk to Color. Color, it puts out a really good demographic on how the language got created, and why it's very popular in a sense.
He knows the line. He knows a lot of random stuff. Like, how does he know how Farsi was put together? Like,
Trust me,
he probably did a lot of study of like Mesopotamia.
I actually, used to reference the Britannica Encyclopedia. Now I just reference color. I got him on speed
No,
dial.
he
Color,
knows
what
his
is this?
stuff. I ain't gonna lie. Color knows his stuff. I've went
Yeah.
on. I don't know if it was. I think I've been on a couple times now, like on y'all shows, and Color can hold it down. I ain't gonna lie. Color can hold it down. Wow, right, and man, dude, this is an awesome night. I almost wasn't gonna do the show tonight, but I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. I can cry if I want to, so I'm gonna do the show. and anyways, I mean, I hope Brittany can come back. I just hope this is just a really good example to people who travel internationally. If you are in any other country, stay away from any drugs. Okay?
Especially Turkey. Especially Turkey.
It just don't, like, in what is it, North Korea? If you get in trouble and go to jail, so does your family. They punish.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If I stole something, they're gonna put me, my mom, my dad, or whoever is living. They put your living relatives in jail with you, like your kids or your grandparents. It's like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I just would not mess. Like, when I've been to Canada twice, and there's things that are legal there and recreational there. Same with Mexico. The only stuff I messed around was something I could buy at a store. If I can't get it at a store, I don't want nothing to do with it in any other country. Please take that into consideration, people. Do not get caught up in these systems. There was a guy who was in North Korea, and he stole a sign. So he went to jail, and they ended up they tortured him and shit because he ended up catching what is that called? Like, if you have like a can of food in your refrigerator for 2 months and it's all moldy and nasty, what is that chemical called? It's super poisonous. I can't think of the it's like a rotting food chemical. Whether it's the bacteria or it's what's produced from like rotting food. That guy they gave to him in North Korea, and then they sent him back over here, and he was basically on a respirator and ventilator, and he died like a month after he got back to the US. It's just like, especially communist countries. Who was it? It was one of the who was it? It's a couple of brothers that are in the NBA. They were
LaMelo Ball or Lamar Ball.
Yes,
one of the.
He was in China, and he got caught stealing sunglasses in China, dude.
Yeah,
and it
became an international incident.
They were in college too. They got kicked out of college because of that.
It was in college. They went over
dad
there,
flew
and they
over
had
there.
the president had to get involved.
Yeah,
in that whole thing.
I mean, look, man. Don't mess around, okay? I'm not going to say that these people, of course, they made a mistake. They messed up. But I'm not going to bash them for it. I'm talking about this as education. Do not mess around in other countries, okay? Don't do it, because you might not have the chance to be a famous person. Like, Brittany Griner is mad famous. Like, Joe Biden is probably going to have to go over there to get her. And now that Russia's in all this stuff, and there's stuff going on with Putin and cancer and stuff, who knows? I mean, they do not have to let Brittany Griner go. I don't think we have, what is it called? Where they have contracts where they release people. Like, that's why the Snowden, what's his name? Snowden went to Russia after he released all the information about the CIA, because they don't send people back over here for that. I forgot the term, but like, we have contracts with other countries that if we commit a crime, well, it's extradition or extradited.
Yeah, extradition. Yes.
You get sent back. We don't have that with Russia. We don't have that with North Korea. I don't even know if we had that with Mexico. Like, don't mess around. I mean, just please, people, don't mess around. It's not even remotely worth it. And however she got caught with that, she's definitely dealing with the circumstances, and that would be that's got to be terrifying to be in jail.
You want to know how bad it is and actually put a movie to it, since we've been on that theme. The movie exists. Watch the movie Midnight Express, right? The same exact thing. An American trying to smuggle hash through the airport, and watch what happens to him, right?
Yeah,
that's why you don't want to ever do it.
It's just like, I mean, and that's way different than just having a vape cartridge on you or a pair of sunglasses. You know what I mean? But look at like, this is a communist country. Like, they look at theft. They look at theft as like you're the biggest scumbag on the planet. You know what I mean? So like, you just don't mess around. And I mean, I'm super adventurous. I went to Mexico, doing I almost got attacked by a bunch of dogs when I was in Mexico. I can show you a video of it. Okay. Because I was out filming and I was being stupid and I didn't realize I was in the most dangerous area. Dude, I almost got attacked by a bunch of dogs. Okay.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
That's better than in like, they told me, said, look, you got to be careful of the cops in Tijuana or even other areas, because like, if you get pulled over, because I've rented a car when I was in Mexico. And if you get pulled over, they could take your passport. They could take all your money. You might have to pay them to not do this stuff. So like, I was, it's not the United States. This is a free country, and you just really got to be careful. And I just don't want to see this stuff happen to people. It's, I mean, I'll hold someone accountable for so much stuff that they do, but like, we just keep it to this country. All right. Make your mistakes here. So, okay. Chris is like, all right, next subject. Fine, Capitan. I'll move over to Cause for Cleats.
Yeah, isn't it Tonk's birthday? It should be his way, Capitan.
Yeah, I can complain if I
want
to.
Kidding.
Man, this chocolate bar is delicious.
I'm not unmuted this time. Oh, now you want to come.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
See, it's not so bad in England. Braveheart is from England, dude. It's not that bad. Isle of Man
Braveheart
is
Scotland.
Well, that's
he was
part
fighting
of
Scotland.
Scotland, part of the
United
Kingdom.
United Kingdom.
It is, yes.
Because I don't think Ireland is, but I think Scotland is.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of Ireland is.
I think South Ireland might be, but I think North Ireland isn't. I was just looking at this the
other way around.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
It's whoever Conor McGregor is talking about.
Yeah, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom.
After he got beat up a whole bunch of times. You know what I'd like to see fight Conor McGregor is Pierre. What was his name? From Canada.
You're oh my god, I just had the name. That's why I jumped on.
He was in the Disney show with
He's so much older now though. There's no way.
I think he would still beat Conor McGregor, dude.
Maybe because of the weight class discrepancy. Conor McGregor's only like 5'1".
I just saw a video of him the other day.
Talking about
George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah, dude. He would whoop Conor McGregor's ass.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I miss about UFC, man. I miss all them superstars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Cause for Cleats. I'm gonna let you go first tonight, Ollie, because you had something personal.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's personal in the sense I have family members that are affected by this, and I have friends. So I chose Benito Jones. Benito Jones' cause is for autism, and his foundation is called Autism Speaks. Their vision at Autism Speaks is a world where all people with autism can reach their full potential. Their impact, Autism Speaks, is enhancing lives today and accelerating a spectrum of solutions for tomorrow. Their mission, is dedicated to promoting solutions across the spectrum and throughout the lifespan for the needs of individuals with autism and their families. Uh, they do this through advocacy and support, increasing in understanding and acceptance of people with autism, and advancing research into causes and better interventions for autism and spectrum disorder and related conditions. They do this through partnerships and collaborations. And I'll just end with this. They're committed to increasing global understanding and acceptance of people with autism, being a catalyst for life enhancing research and breakthroughs, increasing early childhood screenings and timely interventions, improving the transition to adulthood, and ensuring access to reliable information and services throughout the lifespan. Yeah, that is kind of close to me. I have a family member, son, who is very functional. You wouldn't actually know he's autistic unless you asked him or asked his mom about it. I have a friend of mine that has two very young children, two little ones that are autistic, and I have some other friends that have this are going through the same thing, and do understand programs like that is not just for the kids; it's also for the parents as well. It helps them
Oh, yeah.
learn how to cope and deal with, situations that they may have in their home with, caring for an autistic child. It helps the autistic child be able to grow and live their life, a normal, enhanced life and everything. So I definitely support that cause, and that's why I picked the cause. And
Awesome.
fins up to Benito Jones.
Nice. Yeah, those organizations, man, they can, especially stuff like that, they make a huge impact. Just education,
Mm.
helping the kid, helping the parents, because that's half the battle with, with disorders. It's just knowing how to care for the person.
Yeah, and they've made breakthroughs recently. To give you an example, back in the day when you had a child with, possibly being autistic, they really wouldn't even screen them for that until they're like, 10 years old and everything. Now they're catching them before they even turn 4. I think it's someone I know that has a 2-year-old that they already know is autistic. They're able to screen already and find out. It's pretty
Interesting.
interesting. Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those conditions that they're looking, they're trying to figure out how it happens,
Yeah, that's the
why
thing we
it
don't know.
happens, how long it's been happening. They're starting to think it's environmental. Maybe if what we're eating, what we're breathing, what we're ingesting. Could it be vaccinations? It's probably a whole multitude of things. I mean, on average, the person right now consumes a credit card worth of plastic every week.
Hmm. Here's another thing
Um,
to think about. So, when you eat wheat, things that have wheat in them, the wheat that we ingest is not what's the word? It's not organic. It's bioengineered. There's a massive company that owns like 95% of the wheat grown in this world, and it's not even organic wheat. All
yeah, it's
right.
probably
So
Monsanto,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
and that's
So
also a chemical company.
yes, they're also a chemical company. So you think about the wheat that we've ingested over time, we don't know how many issues, health conditions we've had that contribute by ingesting that. Our bodies weren't made to ingest that type of stuff. When we were I don't know what it depends on what religion you are. When you were created, or however you want to say that, our bodies were designed to ingest certain types of foods in certain ways, and over the lifespan of the human race, we've started to change that and mold that into what we eat and ingest. Who knows what the the health issues that we develop are caused by that? You know what I
I mean,
mean?
it's a whole it's a lot. I mean, yeah, everything is completely different than how it used
Mhm.
to be. And I just named all those things as a possibility. I don't know if
Oh
it's
yeah,
that, but it
we
could be
don't know.
GMOs. But I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be something. And we can't, like, we everything is so different than how what humans evolved off of. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but there is something going on that's affecting us. Because I mean, now it's like what, 1 in 90 kids, 1 in 36. Dude, it's a really low number. I think it's like 1 in 36. 1 in 36. I mean, that's basically, you could walk down the street and see, it's like, oh, that kid probably has it. I mean, imagine an elementary school. There's probably 15, 20 kids that got it. I mean,
And you think about all the kids that actually may have it that are at that level, like my nephew, that you don't know that has it, but they do. You know what I mean? Even
yeah, well,
even the
it's a
most
spectrum.
yeah, it depends on what side of the spectrum they're on. I mean, look at the richest guy in the world almost. I don't know if he's the richest guy anymore, but what's his name?
Tesla?
Tesla.
No, Musk. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He's autistic. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that? He's
I
on
did
the
not know
spectrum.
that.
So the
Holy
fact
shit.
that you can function and be a billionaire, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, well, that's like the interesting thing about
Yeah.
autism is like, if you if you have it, you could like,
Mhm.
sometimes some areas you can really excel. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably, we don't know much else about Elon Musk,
Yeah.
besides we don't know that much about him. So he might have other areas where he really, really struggles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
I
this one
agree.
area, he's just like, you can't beat him. Like, it's like, you're not going to beat
Mhm.
him at this.
He's
He's just
really
that
good.
far advanced. You know what I mean? And
California, since we're on the theme of movies, that's a great movie too, Rain Man. If you guys haven't seen it, check that out.
I haven't, but I've been by the area in Ohio where they filmed the scene. It
Mhm.
was in Cincinnati.
Yeah? You
Mhm.
ever saw the movie Shawshank Redemption?
I've seen that movie.
So the actual prison that takes place is in Ohio. I've been to it. In fact, during Halloween, they you can pay money to spend the night in the place because it's kind of haunted.
What?
Yeah.
You know, I actually almost thought about getting involved in like paranormal investigations, because I've had some circumstances arise, and if I
Mhm.
wasn't capable of trying to deal with it my own, I
Mhm.
would have had to move away. Because it's crazy. Like, I went through some crazy stuff, and I don't know if I want to talk. I'm willing to talk about it, but not where I live. I
I
don't
hear you.
usually try to talk about it where I live. Like, if I'm far away, I'll talk
Mhm.
about it, because
Mhm.
that energy, that type of energy stays. It follows you. When you talk about it, it
I can't.
follows. Um, but yeah, interesting.
Mhm.
Because I mean, there's definitely paranormal stuff that goes on. I mean, a lot of these souls, they don't know that they passed away, so they're confused and they linger
Mhm.
and they just need help. Um, but thanks for sharing about the autism. That's the first time doing Cause for Cleats where someone like really explained the the cause. Actually, I think Color's done that too. I think it's
Color
just
is pretty
me.
good at explaining
I
it.
think it's just me who has it. I just
You
talk
can
about,
sit there
like,
and say what autism it all is, but I'm like, let's me explain the cause and what they do.
yeah. But since you were actually went into it and read a lot about the cause and how it, helps and stuff like that, I was like, all right, let me look into this actual cause that I'm going to talk about. So the cause I chose, I went to the Raiders and I just scrolled down, and I don't know if I saw it first. Actually, I did. I saw childcare and then single mom. So it's called Single Mom Strong Las Vegas. It's for childcare costs for single mothers. And it was my man Gerald McCoy, who used to play on the Bucks. He plays on the Raiders now. I was like, heck yeah. I love Gerald McCoy. And it's just like, his personality is like feel good kind of personality.
Mhm.
Makes sense that he would, I don't know. It just wasn't a surprise that he would be involved in an organization like this. So I looked at the organization. there's a website, singlemomstrong.org. And it's just a place for mothers and child events, some mom's night out, monthly events, create opportunities to connect with other local mothers, encouragement. We want to help you from wherever you are, from pre-employment to life and career coaching, programs, just a lot of good, just a kind of a well-rounded area for single women to go to, if they're struggling for whatever is going on, if you need help. And you can donate, you can get involved. There's preschool programs, childcare programs, and just growing up with a single mom and really seeing all the sacrifices she made and all the struggles she had to go to being a single mom and having health problems. Like, she had cancer when I was a small child too. And like you're going through chemotherapy and all that stuff, that changes you. You know what I mean? Your body isn't as strong anymore going through that. And so, like, I saw her go through a lot, and it was hurtful. I mean, I started my own business when I was in elementary school. While my mom was going through cancer, I started my own business and I made money at it. I was just like, I saw an opportunity to make money. I told my mom I was going to do it, and I did. And I've been working ever since. I had a job when I was in middle school. I had a job as soon as I turned 15. I got a job at a Simmons Vet Clinic on Haverhill and Lake Worth Road, because I needed to be able to start supporting myself. Like, I was like, my mom, she can only do so much. I can do this too. And I mean, I was helping out so much. I started paying her car insurance, but I didn't mind. You know what I mean? Because my mom did everything for me. I saw her pawn her mother's jewelry to buy me clothes and buy me toys and stuff. I mean, you can't really get more selfless than that. And so, organizations like this, it helps alleviate that stress and that, that difficult that, single moms go through. And it just to have, people, that are going through it with you. So singlemomstrong.org, and maybe I'll look into making a donation.
That's really awesome, man. I have to, hats off to you to have a parent that was going through that, and you stepping up and starting your own business. You said in elementary school. That's inspiring, man. That's really cool. Definitely.
Yeah.
I have to
It
commend
was,
you for that.
I mean, I just saw the opportunity. Like, it was in front of me. Like,
Mhm.
I just was like, well, I could make money doing that. Hey, Mom, I'm going to go do this. She's like, all right. Hey, Mom, I just made $100, in one day. A kid in 4th grade making $100 in a day? What the?
In 4th grade.
2044, baby. 2044. Just like Ma said it. If I could do it for her, I could do it for y'all. Think about it like that. But yeah. So, man, really good episode tonight, man. This is a really, really,
We're not
really
even done yet, man. The
Oh
good
no,
stuff
we're
hasn't even
not. No,
happened
we
yet.
got it. We got a surprise for y'all at the end after Rapid Color. Rapid Ali. My bad.
Oh, yeah, that's all
Rapid
good, man.
Farsi.
Rapid.
But thanks for everyone, chiming in, listening. Dolphin Dan, Iceman. Let's see who else. Let me just shout them out real quick for you before you do Rapid. California, Joe C, Aquavision, man. And then I saw my man up in here. He was saying, "Go Gators." We got AAQ, Shake Money. My man, Shake Money. My other favorite Gator fan. He told me I was his favorite Gator fan. Likewise, man. Thanks for everybody, chiming in tonight. Great show tonight. What you got, Ali? What you got?
Before we start the rapid fire, did you want to do the rundown?
Oh yeah. Okay.
I haven't done
All
it
right.
all.
So, just to turn back or just to run through this again. TMI Tuesdays, we got to start the week off right with your man Tonk7 TMI Tuesdays.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm gonna have Ali with me. Sometimes I'll have Color or maybe someone else. usually between 9 and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. The show is usually about kind of stuff like this, things that affect sports, but things that affect us.
Mhm.
And then on Wednesdays, we got my man Color Commentary, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, like an open discussion forum. He gets on there. He gets other people on there, having a bunch of good conversations and just learning from each other. It's a pretty good show. And then we got our newest member, Late Night Exhale, my man Ali. And I
Yeah.
think Color's on there with them. Sometimes Capitan. I was on there the other night too, but that's 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays, kind of like an open discussion forum. I haven't
Tonk,
seen
you're
too
welcome
many.
to come every time. You're welcome to come
Yeah.
every time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. And I had a lot of fun. We went
That's
really long on Saturday. That was a long episode. And then
Yeah.
Chris Capitan, the man, he's always got stuff going on here. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Usually at 10 p.m. Eastern is when he tries to do it, but he'll be on there different times. He likes to read a lot of the sports news going on with the Dolphins. He's always going to be pushing Dolphin centric. Defense tailgate. That's what was kind of named after was, Dolphin support Miami teams. We are official partners with Fanatics. There's a link below if you're looking to buy some Fanatics. Go through that link. It'll show some support for us. Keep this going strong. And then we got our own gear. Kind of like this hat. We got beanies, we got hats, we got sweaters, we got tank tops, we got sandals. We got this new flag. I'm yet to see it. One of us is gonna come through with that flag. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. I might have to buy one.
I'm buying it first payday I get next.
Yeah,
I'm getting it.
I don't. Yeah, I'll have to talk to Capitan. Is
You'll
it
do my
even
background.
available yet, Capitan? What's up with the flag? How is it? What's going on? Is it gonna be available?
Can I get a discount? No, I'm just kidding.
And look, you can almost tell. So yeah, so that's the show. That's what we got going on. Thank you everyone for chiming in. We're not ending right now. This isn't ending. And just so you know, 2044 is when I'm going to be president of the United States, either 2044 or 2048. And so we could talk about that another night, but that's what it means. That's what I'm representing now. So by the time 2044 happens, you can be like, yo, 22 years ago, I was watching this YouTube show and I saw the guy. He seemed like he was an okay guy. I'm going to vote for him. That's what
Rock and roll, man. I'll vote for you. Definitely.
See, exactly my point, right there. And if I don't make you feel good to vote for me, let me know. I want to know what I said or what I want to know because I want to be able to reach everybody. But anyways, we about to have my man Ali, Rapid Ali, what we got.
All right. So today was kind of a slow day in the news, but I have some good stuff and I have one really good thing to talk about. Let's start off with the orange jersey tracker. Okay. So most recently on day 6, Tyreek Hill had the orange jersey. That was kind of cool. I like to see the offense get it every once in a while. It's been predominated over the past couple days and camps that we've had by the defense. The defense has been running the show primarily. But then the most newest recipient, Raekwon Davis, baby. This guy, big man. And the reason I want to talk about it, I find it interesting based on the music that they get to play. So if you don't know this, the team has the white jersey and it has the aqua jersey. And then they have the red jersey that the quarterbacks normally wear because they don't want you to hurt them or tackle them or anything. But now we have an orange jersey, and the orange jersey represents whoever the standout player was from the day before, usually, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And if you win the orange jersey, you get to wear it for the next day, and you get to control the music that's being played during practice.
Nice.
So, and I feel that if you listen to the person's music, you can tell a lot about the person. Surprisingly enough, Raekwon Davis's music is dominated by country music.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I could not confirm that Garth Brooks or Alan Jackson was on the list, but I can confirm that it was country primarily. So that was kind of interesting. I didn't expect that, to be honest.
It's probably oh man, I was just listening to it earlier today. They sing "What Hurts the Most."
Oh, I know who you're
band.
talking about. That's actually my wife's favorite group.
Rascal Flatts.
Yeah,
Probably out
Rascal
there.
Flatts.
Well, look, he played for Alabama, so I mean,
Yeah,
Alabama ain't known for not
if
having
you're
country music.
yeah, if you're looking for good country music, I'm more of a Kane Brown fan personally. That's my opinion.
I'm like old school. I
Old
still
school?
listen to like the music I was listening to growing up. Alan Jackson, Tim
Garth Brooks
McGraw.
is good. Don't get me wrong. I just have to be in a mood.
Yeah, I like about 4 of his songs, but I
Yeah.
really like those songs.
Yeah, I
Pretty much
like
more than like, but like Brooks and Dunn.
mhm.
What's his
Rascal
name?
Flatts. The only reason it's a big thing for me is because it's me and my wife's wedding song. That's why she's
Oh
really
yeah,
into
yeah.
them.
That's a
So
lot. Yeah,
I have to always
George.
remember that song.
Yeah, George
But
Strait. I mean, you put out some
Georgia
George
Florida Line
Strait.
isn't bad either. Georgia Florida
Yeah.
Line. Yeah.
But if you guys want to hear some good music, Yellow Wolf just put out an album with Shooter Jennings. And
Okay.
it's like a country rock album. It's so freaking good.
I can do country rock.
Dude, he does the best. He did another album in 2008 called Stereo, which he took a lot of the old classic rock instrumentals and just put like a hip hop spin. It's so freaking good. I mean, it is so good. And so is this other album. Like nobody does country rock like Yellow Wolf. I've met Yellow Wolf. Like I've seen the guy so many times and he just does it perfectly. But anyways, that's interesting to see, it's interesting to see who like ends up liking country music. You know what I mean? Because it's a vibe. You know what I mean? It's a vibe. But shout out to Raekwon Davis. That's tight.
Definitely.
That's tight.
So the next subject that we have here, so I'm still, we've heard the rumors that the Dolphins are still looking for another offensive weapon. It's been rumored. It's been rumored that we were, even after the Tyreek trade, that we were still pursuing Debo. You know what I mean? It's
Debo Samuel.
Yes, Debo Samuel. And that that could still happen. I just don't think it'll be this year. It'll be next year if that were to happen. But there's somebody that and I know early on a lot of people were kind of hoping for that had some interesting news today. So star wide receiver DK Metcalf was not present. Oops, I don't know why that happened. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was not present at Tuesdays for the start of the Seattle Seahawks 3-day mandatory minicamp. Sources told ESPN that Metcalf's absence is unexcused, meaning that he's subject to teams fines that would total more than $93,000 if he were to miss all 3 days. So he's going to miss $93,000.
Yeah, DK's the man now.
He's a man. And I don't know if you ever saw this kid before he was drafted. The guy was what I call a gym junkie. If you saw how cut this kid was as a college rookie, going to be rookie in the NFL, it was ridiculous. I'd go up to my friends and I'd be like, "Hey, look at this guy," and I was like, "How many years do you think he's been in the NFL?" And the guy's like, "Oh, probably like 4 or 5 years." I was like, "He's not even drafted yet," and they're like, "Holy crap!" These guys like ridiculously freaking the gym. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he was on a commercial for like Gatorade, I think.
What they're saying is Metcalf is seeking an extension to his rookie contract and also recovering from surgery for a foot injury he played through much of his last season. His absence from the start of the mandatory minicamp marks something of a turn in his approach, as he was present earlier this spring with portions of the team's voluntary offseason program. At this time, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll praised Metcalf for showing up amid his unsettled contract situation and recovery from foot surgery. Now, I'm not saying that this is his ploy to leave. It could be. It could very well be. There's just been rumors circulating that he, because of the situation going on with the Seattle Seahawks, they're kind of in a tank now, win later mode. You know what I mean? Look how they traded off their generational quarterback. You know, they were open to trade some of their wide receivers supposedly. You know, they're getting draft picks left and right. I think that they're kind of doing what we did in 2019. I think that's kind of where they're going with things. I won't be surprised if DK actually stays, and I won't be surprised if he actually gets traded, to be honest. That's a very big possibility in my opinion. Do you have any opinions?
Yeah, it's there's been some kind of turmoil in the Seahawks ever since I think it was 2 seasons ago
Mhm.
when they were it
I
was the
figured
end
you
of the
would know. You're
season.
there, so you would know what's
Yeah.
going on.
I think it was 2 seasons ago because I know
Mhm.
COVID threw a monkey wrench and all this stuff. But it was the last game of the season and they were playing the Niners. And
Mhm.
whoever won that game was going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Mhm.
Ever since that season, the Seahawks just, I think it's the past 2 seasons, they haven't really been doing much. And then, Russell Wilson put out that list of teams that he would want to be traded to, and it was kind of awkward when he put it out. So yeah, there's just been a big shakeup in the Seahawks. I don't know how much of it has to do
Mhm.
with Pete Carroll or obviously trading, Russell Wilson away. Something is going on because Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson were the last 2 players to be on that team from the
Mhm.
Super Bowl winning team.
Mhm.
And kind of ever since they lost, their identity is that strong defense. You're not going to come in here and win on a Sunday kind of mentality. Like ever since that started going away, I
Yeah.
just haven't seen that strength in the Seahawks. And of course they did well because they got a really good head coach and they
Mhm.
got a freaking quarterback who was just going to put his all every single time. I mean, he's a very motivated person, Russell Wilson. If you've
Mhm.
ever watched any interview of him, he's a very motivated person. And so, I think just that has, like when a quarterback puts out saying, "Oh, this is where I would want to be traded to," it's just like it brings tension. So I think that that's kind of all just like panning out.
Mhm.
And I've seen DK have a few injuries now. I don't want to say he's injury prone, but it looks like because I didn't even know he had that foot injury. So I think that,
Well, he played
like,
through it. I mean, unlike some
right.
receivers that we
But
used to
like,
have
how
on our
good
team.
is he? You know what I mean? If he's having pain, how good is he? I mean, a wide receiver. I mean, wide receivers known to like haul ass and be, um,
Mhm.
um, just athletic. So I hope that, like, I guess we'll see what this new season brings.
I mean,
And
2021, he still had 967 yards. So that's still pretty good in comparison
Metcalf,
to some. Yeah.
yeah. And I
Um,
remember there was this one game where I think it was an interception,
mhm.
and the guy was running it back, and DK chased him down and tackled him. I
Mm.
was like, yo, that says way more about DK than it
Yeah.
does the defensive end. I
Yeah.
mean, you should have thought
In
it
fact,
was
the
in.
highlight was not even for the interception. It
It
was
was for
DK
DK
putting it
chase,
running
and I
back.
think they almost gave him an award like at the ESPYS for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, I was watching it live and I was like, "Yo, that was so dope, dude! It was the dopest play."
Yeah. He
But
had 12 touchdowns last year too. 900,
yeah,
900.
but it kind of was like a quiet 12. It was a quiet
Yeah.
900 yards. It wasn't
It's
splashy.
967 yards to be exact. I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of excited to see. Oh, dude, don't throw it out there yet. To see what Russell's going to do in Denver, but I don't know if this was part of your rundown, Ali.
No, it's not. We're not done yet.
We're not done yet, Capitan. Capitan's probably getting tired. It's almost freaking midnight over there.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll try to be quick here. The next subject, there's two more subjects. Sorry. In fact, I can skip one if we want to, but that's fine. I'll talk about this real quick. World Cup odds for 2022 for you soccer fans. I know Moss Sports will be really into this. With the World Cup draw officially in the books, we know who the United States men's national team will face in 2022 World Cup. The United States group, it consists of England, Iran, and the new European playoff winner, the Wales. I'm sorry. So from gambling perspectives, five-time World Cup champion Brazil is the pre-tournament favorite. So even though
Yeah.
they have not had the best of success when it comes to the World Cup recently, but because they've won 5 times, gambling experts are still using them as the favorite essentially. They're at a plus 450 on Fox Bet, just so you know that. The United States' odds are 10,000. So plus 10,000. So essentially, if you bet $10, they're saying you'll win $1,010 if you were to win. All right. So for me, I think the biggest takeaway is that the group that we've been put into is actually a manageable group. Some people have noted it as a group of death, if you want to call it that. England, being a World Cup champion at some point, and Iran always puts up a strong fight against the United States. They always do. And Wales always puts up a strong fight against England, and whenever their backs are to the wall. So everyone automatically thinks that our group is a group of death, essentially. And what that means, if people haven't heard that term before, is that it's a very tough group to win. There's not a clear-cut winner at all. I kind of feel like this is a very big manageable group. Even though Iran and England are very strong opponents, I think the U.S. could actually surprise them. They actually played better than I thought they would against Uruguay, which is a big-time South American team. So I'm really excited to see what they do. And if you're wondering who my team in that group will be, that's the team right there. So yeah, I had to talk about them while I can, but it's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be different for everybody this year. The World Cup is actually being played at a different time of the year. It's normally played around this time in the summer. It's actually being played in the winter this year. So that'll be very, very interesting for everybody.
On the Northern Hemisphere?
They're playing in Qatar.
Okay, so so that'll be cold. It'll be winter.
Well, there it's still hot regardless, but because of the temperatures that it gets in Qatar, they've decided to shift it to this time. I'm sorry, during November, the second half of November, because it'll be cooler. Plus, I heard they're going to be primarily playing during the nighttime there as well, so it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, deserts got crazy different temperatures, throughout the year. But yeah, I wouldn't imagine being there in the summertime. Just probably 130 degrees.
Yeah, in actually that's yeah, I agree with Moss Sports. He's saying Qatar people would be dying if they played in July. The truth behind it is just building the stadiums alone, people have died there, because of that heat. It's unbearable. You know what I mean? It's I don't know if you've ever been to a country like that's hot. I've been pretty close. I was stationed in Kuwait for a few months, and it literally the pool was closed during the daytime. It was closed all day long, and we had to purposely only shower at nighttime. Otherwise, you'd be scalding to death. Like, it was that hot. I mean, it's so unbelievably hot. It's not like Florida where you have the humidity going at all. It's like a pure dry heat that after
I've been to Las Vegas. I went to Las Vegas in September.
Yeah.
And when I walked outside of the airport, it was literally like an oven. I was like,
Yeah, I
I
wasn't
don't know
sure.
how people
I'm
can
not.
do it, man.
I'm not sure how hot it gets in Vegas. Like I've heard it gets pretty hot, but in Kuwait, when I was there, it averaged about 125 degrees per day. That was the
Yeah.
average. So I don't know.
No thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, the one last thing, real quick, and I'll try to be quick about it for El Capitan. So massive news. CNN reported this, as well as the New York Times. It's really about their investigation. The New York Times investigated Cleveland Browns star Deshaun Watson received multiple massages at a private hotel and club for which the Houston Texans have provided him a membership, according to the New York Times investigation published Tuesday. Per the Times, Jenny Vretas, Watson said in his deposition he had some of his massage therapists sign a copy of a non-disclosure agreement that had been left in his locker by the Texans' director of security, Brent Nicara. Interesting. Rusty Hardin, Watson's lawyer, said the quarterback continues to uh, I can't even say this word. Vehementally deny the allegations and have led to 24 civil lawsuits. Vehemently. Sorry if I can't say it, bro. I apologize. My bad.
You're good, dude.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the allegations have led to 24 civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, of misconduct during massage therapy sessions. We can say that the real facts are known. The issue will appear in different light, Hardin says. Let's see if there's anything else about that report. Yeah, so essentially what this is basically painting a picture is that the Houston Texans were, even though, the light is all on Watson in his case, the Texans kind of, green lighted him to do it. They actually helped him in a sense. I don't know what your thoughts on that is.
This whole controversy, I am like 100% like, I don't like if this many people say the exact same thing about you, there's something going on.
And
what actually happened
Yeah.
is still, I guess, being figured out. But I can't imagine this many people saying the same thing about you and not have some merit about it, be truth about it. And now it actually makes a little bit more sense that he did it so many times. It's because he thought he was allowed to do it.
Moss Sports is absolutely correct. I was right about to comment on that, actually. So reports are now saying that Watson has actually spoken or had massages or talked to people about massages for more than 65 women. So
but like
now it's growing even more.
But like how?
So,
I mean, but like, why did it take so long? Like, for this to be publicized? Like, I mean, I don't like, was to get to 65 different women. I mean, that's a job in itself.
well, let me ask you a question. This isn't the first time we've seen something similar to this, right?
With Bob Kraft?
No. I'm not talking about the NFL as itself, but in the sporting world. And I'm not talking about like massages particularly, but it's along the same kind of line of stuff. Tiger Woods, for example.
There are massage parlors that will do things like that to you.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. But what I'm talking about in the sports world, Tiger Woods, he had an issue with escorts. He was actually having escorts, and there was a lot of them. I think the number was over 200, if my memory serves me right. So, the number doesn't really surprise me, especially from one period to another period of time. What I think surprises me more is that how slowly these women are coming forward. Now I hear they've just added a 24th lawsuit now, so a 24th person has come back. How many more women are going to come forward to realize, even us who debate should we have traded for him or not, how many have to come forward till we finally say, hey, guy may not be the guy. Maybe the guy that you're going to talk about, Tonk, maybe he's the guy. Segue there.
Well, honestly, I think it would be stupid for any team to support him right now in the way that the Browns have. You didn't need Deshaun Watson. You have other quarterbacks. For you to go after him and take him and say, oh, yeah, we did our, I don't know. I mean, this needs to be cleared up before you have him trying to play in the team. And the NFL might not let him play. I'm not sure. But this whole scenario, it's just, it bothers the shit out of me. It bothers me a lot because a lot of men think they could just get away with stuff like this because whatever power they have or whatever money they have, or if they have a document from their employer saying that they can do it, but that's also other men. This is such a male problem. And finally they're starting to be, I mean, for a woman to go through this, I know women who have been sexually assaulted and I've seen them after it happened. And it's very difficult for them to step forward and to talk about this stuff. I mean, it is super difficult. And just because someone says that you did it doesn't mean you actually did it. But the fact that this many people are saying that he did it, something happened. And now that this other information is out, it kind of does make sense to me that it did get to this many people because he had a document that he carried around telling them to sign it. But at the same time, why wasn't he outed at these places? Why wasn't his name moved around? How many people knew that he was doing this before he went to another new place? I mean,
so let me, that goes to my second part of it, that I think it's almost like a conspiracy in a sense. Okay. It's
well,
all
Captain
about
10 said that.
the money. All right. It's all
Captain
about the
10
money.
said that.
And it's true. It really is. He wanted out before all this stuff got put out, right? He wanted out of the Texans organization. He didn't like where they were going. Even the moves that their GM slash coach made at some point, it really didn't set them up to go anywhere, even if he stayed, right? So you want to be traded. He wanted to come to Miami no matter what, right? That's what the reports say. That's what his lawyers are saying, that he wanted Miami more than anything. It didn't happen. He had just signed a new contract with the Texans. They wanted their $40 million back. That's kind of what it comes down to. And it doesn't behoove me to, because they're involved, they want to, steer it in their direction. And now it's coming out after the fact, after he's no longer on the team. They don't really care anymore. And here's the other thing. I've said it before on my show, and people can agree or disagree, doesn't matter. Money talks in 85% of consumer decisions, and it's a proven fact, and it can't get around it. We know this is a man's sport, and there's really nothing you can say about that, but I can tell you 85% of the decisions that are made in the consumer level are made by women. So whatever the NFL decides to do with this, and this is the reason why it's taking so long, is because they know it's going to affect their money for the positive or the negative, and they want to make sure it's on the right side.
Well, especially if the team was greenlighting it. I mean, how it's like this raises so many other questions now. I mean, a lot of this is almost like Jerry Sandusky water we're getting. I mean, it's not, I don't want to say it's the same thing. It's similar, but the fact that we're now finding out that other people were involved, trying to hide it and cover it up. Because if you know about something like this and you don't immediately try to stop it, you are just as bad as the person doing it. And
you're the enabler. You're the one enabling him to do it.
Maybe, and obviously, it sounds like that. All right, they knew he was doing it, so they're like, all right, well, let's try to make him sign an affidavit so that if he does this, he's not going to get in trouble for it. It's like whoever came up with that idea is stupid. Okay, that is not an intelligent idea. That's not even remotely helping the situation. Obviously, if he was doing this, he has a problem. He has some kind of situation that he's maybe isn't in fully control of himself. I don't know. We don't know. We're just going on what we hear. And now that the organization is starting to look like they were part of it, dude, it's like this is becoming really, really big.
Mhm.
And I mean, but honestly, if I was Watson, and this is why I don't feel bad for him, and I do think he was doing some of it, because if I was him and this came out, I would step away from football. I would step away. I would hold myself just account, like step away from this as far as being in the spotlight until this is resolved. You need to figure your shit out, dude, before you think you could be a leader.
Well, Watson has $250 million reason why not to, because it's
I don't
fully
know, man.
guaranteed.
I guess I don't know. I mean, money talks, but I mean, for this many people to say something about you, like, does it not bother you? Like,
Mhm.
do you think, like, when you're talking to your family members, when you're talking to your friends, when you're talking to the organization, it's like, do you
It's one
like?
thing if it's like maybe one or two women, I'm not gonna say that's good, but I'm just saying it's way better than 24 women. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then in
Well,
addition
I'm not
to
gonna
it,
say yeah to that, but
you know what I'm saying? It's not good if one woman says it, but I'm just saying it doesn't look as bad. It's still bad, but not as bad. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
But but at the same time, if you look at it, the Browns and their history and their woes that they've had, and you made this type of move, $250 million guaranteed, and you traded the farm when you already had a
I don't
quarterback still
exactly,
there.
man. It's like, what do you know that we don't know?
I
Like,
just I think they jumped the gun, and then if anything, the whole situation shit the bed, and it made the Browns
and if
look more
anything,
Browns.
how is a guy who's in this much trouble right now worth that much money?
I don't know,
Like,
man.
would you give Johnny Manziel that much money after he was reported for beating up his girlfriend?
The difference is that Deshaun Watson could actually play. That's the key here. That's the big
I
difference.
just
He
I
proved
don't I
himself
this
for 5 years before this
it's just
issue.
this whole, like, and I don't know, has the head coach of Clemson come out in support of Watson? That's who he played for. Like, who is out in support of him? Like, I don't know, man. I think that there's so much going on with this, and I don't think he and the Browns are being responsible about it. I think that they're trying to just brush it away. And obviously,
Mhm.
this is getting more in depth. I mean, now
Yeah.
that this
Uh,
document is out about the Texans,
mhm.
oh, dude, those
Aquavision.
blows.
Aquavision, you have a good point here. I know for my personal talking to Browns fans as well as joining their spaces, especially the one where they had the media, the organization, and the fans in a Twitter space. There may be like for every one or two fans that are happy, there's like 100 or 1,000 they're not. It is so toxic. It's not even funny there right now. They not only did it affect the fan base, it affected the community, and the community is not necessarily happy either. You know, so it's
Exactly.
yeah. So it goes that's a really open-ended question. I can't tell you if they're going to be whole again, yes or no. I don't really know.
So when this podcast first started, this was a big topic because the Dolphins were almost looking into Deshaun Watson. And I
Mhm.
actually didn't participate in some of the talks because of how I feel about it. And I didn't want to start arguing and yelling with people on here about this. I actually had a whole
Mhm.
conversation with Cappy Tun outside of it. I almost wasn't going to continue doing it because it just bothers me so much. that this situation and how when it's being handled. And so me and him talked about it, we discussed it, and we figured out how we were going to get through this together as friends and as a podcast group. And he had his stance and I had mine, and obviously we made it work. But I don't know. It's like the more information that comes out about this, it seems the worse it is. And now that this document exists saying that somebody else in the organization knew about it, who else knew about it? I mean, not only one other person, like that person has a boss. Unless it was the owner of the Texans, unless it was the owner only, that person has a boss.
Yeah, if you think that the owner of the Texans did not know what his team is up to or what his players do, you're wrong. I'm sorry. If
That
you're
was
a
kind of my
political-
point in the very beginning, that like, how does a billionaire that
yeah,
has like enough money that nations don't even have, that they have full-on security detailed teams, not A, know about it, and B, to me it looked like in the beginning that they set him up, because it didn't hear a peep up to that point. He was like the Model A citizen, like straight up, like everyone loved him. And then there was talk about there being problems between him. Then there was talk about him coming to the Dolphins or a different team, and then he didn't show up, and he had put out like a tweet or something saying, that's it, I'm not playing for the Texans, took all his media down, and basically was going to force his way out. And not there was some time in between there when the Dolphins were building, and then his name was thrown around here, and then boom, this whole thing happens. And the fact that it's stretched over a whole year now and nothing's come of it, now that they're finding out that the organization knew, I'm telling you, it is only going to get worse with whose hands are dirty. And I don't know who's right, who's wrong, or whatever. But one thing I would venture to say is that there's a lot more people in the wrong than just Deshaun Watson. Whether he did anything wrong or not, this entire thing is a debacle. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's one extreme where he was a serial fucking molesting rapist, because that's the most extreme it could be, to the other extreme where it was the only other extreme to that is that he had sexual relations with a lot of women that were okay with it, and then he got strong-armed, and a team helped him strong-arm him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the team would be behind the strong-arming, because whether they helped or didn't stand in the way, there's something rotten in Denmark with that whole thing. And it was weird to me from the perspective that maybe what he was doing is embarrassing or a bad thing, but it seemed like the team was hanging him out to dry. And I'm thinking, here's $160 million asset of theirs that they're going to hang out to dry to control. It was ugly. And it still is looking like that. I don't know what's the thing that, again, that doesn't make any sense after all of that. When they stonewalled the trade to the Dolphins or whatever happened there, they didn't get nearly as much back for him in a trade than from the Browns as I thought. So again, why? What the hell is going on, man? I hope we do get some clarity out of it, because if there's real victims involved in this, then it's a full-on shame. And honestly, if I was a victim, we'll just say for the sake of argument, I'd be suing the shit out of the NFL. Because how the hell you have all these billionaires, all these employees, all this stuff, and you ain't got nothing to stand in the way of someone like a real victim getting just pushed around like this? You know what I'm saying? It's a real weird thing. And if it's the other extreme where the team hung out one of their players out to dry like this, because okay, maybe he's a sexual deviant, maybe he's a sex addict, but no crimes were ever committed, we're saying this. Or maybe, to me, I speculated early on that the team was in on this whole thing, that it was one of his coaches or one of his, quality control managers that was setting this whole thing up, and they knew about it, and then they hung him out to dry when he tried to leave. kind of like how I look at the John Gruden thing when he signed that 10-year, $100 million contract. My first instinct, everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." My first instinct is, what dirt do they have on John Gruden to feel comfortable enough to give him $100 million contract like that? And sure enough, a few years later, he gets fired from some emails back in the 2000s, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Saying some racial stuff with other owners and stuff like that, where he's the only one that went down because of all that shit. When this email leak thing.
He's the only one that lost his job so far, but that was an investigation about racism in the NFL.
No. Someone leaked that email. And what? Okay, look, here's the deal.
They went through a whole bunch of emails from the Washington football team.
Why?
Why? Because they were investigation.
Nah,
they said they were investigating for racism. I don't know why.
Listen,
what made them think that like Dan Snyder is a racist? I don't know.
Dan Snyder still ain't in fucking trouble from all that, and somehow the only team to sign a 10-year, $100 million contract finds a way to get out of that contract. Again, billionaires, billionaires holding the keys. I'm telling you, bro. That's my point.
Why? Okay, so you just said, what dirt do they have on John Gruden that they would give him that much of a contract? If they had dirt on him, why would they give him a contract like that?
Because they know that if they gave him that contract, they can get out of it. That's why. It was like $100 million guaranteed. It wasn't $100 million contract. It was like $100 million guaranteed.
I mean, whenever I see contracts like that, I think it's always a bad idea. And
yeah, but
Gruden,
I'm saying, like,
he has a Super Bowl. He did raise the Raiders to go. Like, that was his team that he played against.
I know, but again,
that was his team. But like, he doesn't have a very good track record. Like, I did not think he was that.
Oh no, I didn't. Nobody did. But my point again, all of those reasons why, if you wanted to get out of the contract, they wanted to get out. Like they made sure to have an ace in the hole when they did that. Same thing with the Texans. The Texans had their ace in the hole when they paid him all that money. They had their ace in the hole, and then when he tried to go away, I'm just saying, I'm not saying any of these things are true. It's just a perspective that has to be said. You know what I'm saying? I hope the more of the truth comes out, because one way or another, it's a bad look on the NFL brand and the organization with all the great stuff they do too. And you guys know, you do, Tonk, you know more than most because of Cost for Cleats every week. All this stuff that's so good that comes out of the NFL.
Flushed down.
Well, it not necessarily gets flushed down, but you know, it's kind of like this. Okay, I have a business. Mm-hmm. My business gets ratings online or whatever. Mm-hmm. People are more adept to take their time when they're mad to write a bad rating than to write something good. So you gotta scream. You're screaming and talking about all the great things forever, but one bad thing is so much more fun, or it's like a wildfire. People just want to know the bad thing for whatever reason. So it's ridiculous in that way. Like you're looking at a restaurant, you're scrolling in, it's got 5-star, 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 and then there's one person, this is the worst. They write a whole fucking page of how terrible they were. People just, they're assholes like that. And I don't know, they know that they could control narratives, and I don't know, to me, everything, there's always some bullshit going on in the back room.
Okay, but all right, so let's just say yeah, all right, the Texans, they wanted to get their money back from Deshaun. So how they're going to go about it is paying women to lie about Deshaun, or to figure out some way to smear his name.
Just speculatory.
What do you think is going to come out?
Just speculatory. What I think happened. Just speculatory of what I think happened is that our coach and that quarterback, our ex-coach, I should say, and that quarterback worked out him coming here, because it was talked about beforehand and he wanted to come here. There was a whole behind the scenes, but he signed with the Texans. When things failed with the Texans, I think they tried to get him to come here and tried to make it happen. And I think because the owner had died, the son had taken over, and we picked the Texans dry in a trade, all kinds of stuff. And I really think that when they brought new guys in, they assessed the damage. They brought a new GM and everything. They assessed what was going on. And we were essentially going to sideswipe them and steal their quarterback. And they said no. And now you got two billionaires fighting over their toys is essentially what happened.
And
They got carried away and threw this out there and made a mountain out of a molehill that then the NFL had to step in. This is all speculatory, but it's from the outside.
Okay,
It's
Tonk, another thing, and I apologize for interrupting, but Tonk, another thing to answer your question is, do we really think that the Texans paid these women to go after him or whatever? Not that they paid them. I think that they somehow linked a lawyer that lived right next door to the owner, so he knows who they are.
Yep.
To them,
and not only
in
that,
the event. Hold on, and I'll let you go. I apologize, Captain. I'm really sorry. To create a situation that would question the what's his name, Watson, in doing something detrimental to the NFL, that they could get out of the contract and not have to pay him the $40 million guaranteed or whatever it was his contract was.
It just kind of looks eerily like some mob stuff to me.
Yeah.
You know, it just eerily looks like mob stuff in a way. Nothing was ever said, and they kind of like blackmailed them with this shit. Okay, go watch The Sopranos. The guy that has the car lot, that's, you know, friends with the mayor and stuff like that. Well, guess what? He's got a gambling problem, or he likes strippers or something, and they facilitate their vices to them and then blackmail them later. And that's kind of what it just looks like, some mob shit to me that happened. Now, I'm not saying Watson ain't right and probably has some wrongs, but I was just calling it like I thought it. You know, that's all. It looked odd, and it still does, as it still is coming out. Odd, some mob shit. I'm telling you, it's weird.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think there's other ways for billionaires.
It's weird
to figure something out besides saying, "Hey, 65 women." Oh, in a couple lawyers. Let's all say that he sexually assaulted
they're not saying
you.
that it was 65 women that got assaulted again.
Okay, but right now this guy just said, found out, the NFL's found out there's like 65 women or so. Moss Sports said that, but we already know there's 24 that actually reported it.
Yeah, that have
but
cases
like,
and stuff
to
like
go to
that.
such extremes.
Oh well, I think.
I mean, an email is not as much as extreme as this many people saying that Deshaun Watson pulled his pants down and expected to have some kind of sexual interaction. Okay. Like, we can't, I don't know how much you can compare that with, all right, we went through a bunch of emails. So we found that you're racist as hell.
So it's kind of like this. There was this chick, she used to host a poker game. It would go all over, a lot in New York, but mainly it was a poker. They called it Molly's Game. They have a movie about it. But the story is she used to host this game, and all these rich people would gamble, and it was a sex club, some shit like that. Well, she got busted, but who the fuck was a part of this bitch? Nobody else got busted. And you know it's elites that are in it. You know that they're a part of it, and not one of these motherfuckers got in trouble. And that's just the kind of situation. That's all. He's a toy, and this whole thing's being fought over. And I think all the billionaires started fighting. In another world, he probably would have been exposed for his sins that he probably is and got out. But another billionaire is willing to buy the sins up. So we'll never fucking know one way or the other. And again, it's a sadness because there's probably victims in this from somewhere, somehow. And it's fucking pain in my ass. It irritates the shit out of me. But what are you going to do?
I mean, we're just going to obviously, like, just watch an I mean, it's not like we can get away from this. You know, all three of us, and especially
the truth
in the comments, we all watch sports news. We all watch sports. So we're all getting.
I would just say more often than not, the news or the truth doesn't come out in the end, just the narrative, just what they want you to know. That's all. Come the end, we'll know something. But it won't be the truth. It'll be what they want you to know about this. Because look at the shit show it is.
You're so bad.
What did he say?
Look at his comment.
We call him a tripod.
Lower and lower.
He can
It's
lean
like-
forward.
All right, let's
He
get to
can
the
lean
last one.
forward.
All right. So that's all on you, Tonk.
Jeez. All right. So you're the one who brought this up earlier. So
I was not
we
the one that
were-
brought this up.
Who
This was
it
brought up by Captain. Oh, Captain brought it up, and then you.
Oh, I
So
talked
we
about
were-
it yesterday. I talked about it yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
was on
watching
that
the show. So we were in the pre-show, figuring out what we're going to talk about, what me and Capitan are going to argue about, and so he said Lamar Jackson to Miami, and I'm like, huh? I like that. I like that a lot. I don't. Does he fit in the system with that head coach? Like now, like I'm starting to look at like systems. Like, are these quarterbacks going to make it in that system? I don't want to make it just about one player, one star player, because it's a team sport. If he can make it in that system with that head coach and those wide receivers, in that offensive line, if anyone could scramble around, it's Lamar Jackson. He has the footwork to show it. He's a dynamic player. We talked about RPO offenses earlier this year. I think he would do well there. I'm curious to see Lamar Jackson really succeed because I think did they make it to the playoffs with? I think they made it to the playoffs with him.
Not well. I don't know about this.
And the rate, maybe like a wild card game. I know they've had some success with him. But then they'll lose to the Browns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though that's a division game, division games are always tough. But like you see these discrepancies, like, all right, they're good, but then they lose, to that team. Like, what's going on here? I'm curious to see how this will pan out. I think that if this news is out, it's not going to help Tua. Like everything that they've been trying to do to lift Tua up, to get him going, to bring in a new receiver, to talk about other receivers, Debo, Metcalf, really trying to work on him on the offense. And is that him wearing the orange jersey? Was that him wearing the orange jersey?
Tua got the orange jersey a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Well, hey, like, and the things that I talked about earlier this year about like a more holistic approach to Tua to really try to hone in on what he can actually accomplish. I don't think this news is actually good for all of that, but I would not be against Lamar Jackson going to Miami.
Here's my thing about this. Like, if I had to pick any quarterback that we would trade for, we've heard the Brady rumors, we've heard Lamar rumors, we've heard the Deshaun Watson rumors. The one that makes sense when we talk about schemes, since you brought that up, and the system we're running, is Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
It does make sense. The guy can run when we need him to. He can, he can throw bombs. He has a video that just came out, I think today or yesterday. He's on one knee throwing 50-yard bombs. Right?
Exactly, dude.
You know
He's dynamic. He's explosive.
He can do that. All right. I don't disagree with that. My concern is, what are we giving up for him? You know what I mean? I don't like giving up the farm for a quarterback. I just don't. Unless I know it's a sure thing. And that's my only concern about this. At the same time, I do feel bad for Tua. Because the fact that we've done all this stuff to lift him up and build around him and everything, only to, hey, bye, we're going a different way. You know what I mean? I do feel bad for that. There is a team that I know would be surely interested in him and actually have made offers for him. So I know that
for who? Tua or Lamar?
For Tua. I know a team that's really interested.
Who?
The Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have made offers for him.
Interesting. He probably doesn't.
Whoa, I got breaking news. Hold on. I got breaking news. Just happened. Let me see what it is.
There's the 28th.
Broncos have entered a purchase sale agreement with Walton Penner family ownership group. The sides announced. So that means that looks who's going to be the new owner. Yeah, ESPN is reporting it. I
Did
just
you
got it
like
on my
that little?
phone. So
that little
Denver
commentary?
Broncos, Denver Broncos entered a purchase sale agreement with Walton Penner Family Ownership Group. The sides announced Tuesday night terms of the agreement, which will transfer the franchise from Pat Bolin Trust to the group led by Walmart heir Rob Walton. So Walmart is going to be owning
Oh, Walmart is in the system
Broncos.
now.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. How do you feel about that?
They got the money to be able to sustain a team, because you have to be a multi-billionaire to sustain something like this. They're obviously good at business. Now, with how they pay their employees and stuff like that, I'm not going to get too much into that. But I don't know. I mean, it's obviously they gave the current owner, they probably gave him a really, really good deal. What they paid, $10 billion.
Well, the rumor is the sale is going to be north of $4 billion. That is the rumor.
Shit, what's his name paid what, 6 for what was the last, what's his name that was forced to trade the LA team, the Clippers?
I
How
don't
much did
know.
I think it was $2 billion he paid actually for the Clippers. So
Yeah.
north of $4 billion.
Yeah, it's like $4.5 billion or more is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I don't necessarily feel good or bad about it. Being a fan of sports, there's only so many times that we're going to see something like this happen. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen that often. So I'm curious to see how it goes. The NFL has a cap, so it's not like they can just spend. I mean, because obviously they got the money to just spend, do whatever they want. I'm curious to see what else they do besides just own a team. What do they bring for the community of the Broncos? Why not like Bentonville, Arkansas? There's no team there. Are they going to take the team and move to Arkansas? Are they going to be part of trying to expand the NFL? Like for a company, for someone that has that much power, that much money, what else are they going to do besides just own a team? That's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I see what you mean. What are they doing for the community side of it too? Recently, another sports franchise for a different sport that I watched recently sold their team. Soccer, of course, because that's my other big time sport. My team sold their team to a new owner, Todd Bowley, who's part owner of the Dodgers, and he has an ownership stake in the Lakers too. He automatically said that he wants to rebuild the stadium. He wants to invest that everything that goes around the stadium because he feels it doesn't just have to be one sport that they have. Kind of like the Miami Dolphins. We now have the F1 formula racing. So that brings in, a different fan base at the same time, more jobs, you know what I mean? I look at it that way too. I am interested to see what they do. Walmart is known for not paying their employees though, so that does
Yeah.
kind of concern me in a sense. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. Like you're not gonna. I mean, I don't honestly think that that's their idea. Oh, let's. You're not gonna underpay NFL players. It's not gonna happen. It's not. That's just not gonna happen.
Is there a Walmart stadium? Just curious. Is there a
I
Walmart
don't know.
stadium? Because now they don't
but,
even need a sponsorship. They can just name their own stadium.
But
You know what I mean?
they probably can. I mean, I'm just curious to see like what happens after this. Like for like what the owner of the Sonics said he was going to keep the Sonics in Seattle, and he took them to OKC.
I'm going to tell you what Walmart ownership is going to do. They're going to give all their season ticket members free Sam's Club memberships. You heard it here first.
We're rolling back on NFL. Rolling back.
Oh, Color's got commentary now.
Hey, but hold on.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So hold on, just give me. So, I just want to answer a comment. Q asked me to look up what he said. How about Lamar wanting to stay in Baltimore because the stability he has with John Harbaugh? I have
That's a
no
good
problem
point.
with that
Well,
either.
that may be the
I
case, but I don't
love
think he's happy in
I
Baltimore, to
love
be
John
honest with you.
Harbaugh. I love Jim Harbaugh. I think they are good for the NFL, especially when they were with playing each other in the Super Bowl. I think that's good for the NFL. I love that head coach. I think he's a very good head coach. That's why I like Lamar there. But that
But
doesn't
real
always
quick,
mean it's going to work.
I'm not sure. I think Walton is just the heir to the throne. I don't think to the royalties. I don't think that Walmart is run that way anymore. Like, I don't think we can infer that just because Sam Walton owns something that Walmart is the owner of it. You know what I mean? Just to
Oh,
point
so
that
you're
out.
saying, and
Right.
actually, if he's the heir, he's not the official owner yet, is
Right.
he?
I think it's like a public traded
Uh,
company now. I don't think that
okay.
I don't think we can infer that Walmart's the owner now because
Well,
Walton Jr. is, you know what I mean? Just
I
wanted to point
gotcha.
that out.
yeah, no, and I don't think I was actually saying that, but I was just, I mean, it's the owner, it's Walmart. I mean, you know what I mean? It's the owner,
Yeah, I
the heir
think
of
when
Walmart.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna be of course it's gonna be the family principles. Yeah, sure.
yeah, and see, I think
Cheap,
it was me
cheap
that said
labor,
that because when I
cheap
see Rob
labor.
Rob Walton, or anybody that's related to that company, that's who I'm seeing. I'm seeing Walmart. You know what I mean? That's what they're known for.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So,
and people, when they're talking about it, they're going to see the
mhm,
owner of Walmart. I mean, it's like they might get into the weeds, but I'm just saying, like,
mm.
Walmart owns it. I mean, if
The other
only
thing is,
like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos we really know as individual. I don't really know individuals from the owners of
mhm,
Walmart. I just don't. Like I
yeah,
do Microsoft or
Right,
Amazon.
right. You would like
You
to
know what
think
I
that it's
mean?
gonna
It's
be at
Jeff
least the same family
Bezos.
principles running the
Yeah,
show. Yeah,
if you
I get
say
you.
yeah,
Amazon, it's well, not so much anymore, but it was Jeff Bezos. It's Elon
yeah.
Musk. It's Walmart is
We don't know.
yeah. It's like yeah,
Yeah, the other thing with it is for me is that I was kind of hoping, for sake of argument, because we've gone back and forth with this. I want to see a minority owner. You know what I mean? That's what I was hoping for,
well,
and I know
right
there
now,
was groups
yeah.
interested in the Broncos. You know, my only hope for minority owner at this point is the rumor of who's interested in buying the Miami Dolphins. Actually, that's the only minority
So, well, we
ownership
have
that
the
I know of that's left.
Jaguars. I think is a minority owner.
Yeah, but
Shao
I'm talking
Kahn.
about, yeah, he's a minority owner, but I'm talking about like
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
adding more
Yeah, no,
minority
I'm not saying we don't need more. I am 100% for minority owner, like
owners.
150%. We can talk about coaches, players, teams. I'm 100% about bringing more minorities, into the mix because they are part of that.
Mhm.
They're just as important as anybody else.
Yeah.
Um.
Mhm.
So yes, I mean I would actually, but how many minorities are quadruple billionaires? I don't. It's and to own a team. I mean, to buy a team like that, the guy that owned the Jaguars, I don't know exactly who he is, but he probably has a lot of oil money.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot of that kind of money is staying in the Middle East. Like they haven't really transitioned over here as far as minorities, like eastern part of the world doesn't see eye to eye on a lot of things with the western part of the world, especially when it comes to United States. That's why we don't see a lot of transition from over there. And we
Mhm.
don't have a lot of, I don't know too many minority Jay-Z. I think he has something to do with the Nets. Michael Jordan,
Mhm.
with the
I want
I
to say the
forgot which
Khan
team.
family that owns the Jaguars. I think the
I could have
billions
been
are
wrong
made.
with how he has a billion. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah,
just
I want to
saying.
say that his billions are because of telecommunications. I want to say.
Oh yeah, that was right.
I don't think it's oil. Now, if you get into soccer teams, I can name like
Oh
half a
yeah.
dozen that are based on oil money, to be honest. So it does exist. But regarding, you're right, a quad billionaire or whatever, because I know even though you buy a team for like, let's say you bought a team for like $4 billion, the NFL wants you to have like 3 times that amount to back it up in case you need to.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
a lot of these ownership groups, they actually come as a group. So the
Mhm.
main purchaser may have a lot of money, but he has other sources of money with other buyers behind him. For example, Todd Bowley, for example, bought I want to say it's like around $4 billion he bought Chelsea Football Club, right? It could be less than that or it could be more. I don't remember the exact amount, but not all of the 4 billion or whatever amount he paid was from his money. Part of it came from some other ownership groups from Switzerland and another guy who's a big time billionaire in LA that backed him up. So it just depends on how you add it up. I wanted to see more minority, have a stake,
I know,
and
man, like a
and
Native
have to stay.
American,
Or Native
like
American,
I mean they got money. I mean all those casinos, dude. I mean,
that was money that the Commanders could have sold ownership to and keep their team named something similar to the
I
Redskins.
don't honestly, I don't know why that we don't have. I don't even know if we do. I can't honestly say that we do or we don't have Native American owners of sports teams in this country,
Yeah,
but I don't see why it hasn't happened yet. I mean, especially with the money they get in from casinos and stuff like
casinos.
that. I mean, and I don't know how much they talk to each other, reservations and stuff like that. I just, I don't really know.
Mm-mm.
But they got, I mean, but like I said, I mean, you got to have billions and billions to be able to float it. And it's just a liability. I mean, imagine the insurance
Mhm.
alone, just the insurance for every player, every employee, the city, the state. I mean, it's just so much money, man.
Mhm.
And it's probably maybe for a minority owner might be a little too risky.
Mhm.
Um, for everything they've done to achieve to be where they are, maybe individually they can't do it. Like Jay-Z, he's like somewhat of an owner of the Nets, even though he was the main reason taking them to Brooklyn. I know
Mm.
that had to do with him. Um, but like it
Where were
takes
the
someone
Nets
like
before Brooklyn?
New Jersey,
Oh, okay.
New Jersey Nets. But I mean, he's married to Beyonce, and like like Beyonce, and Michael Jordan is like you can't walk around without seeing a pair of Jordans. Like you can't. So he has the money. I mean, LeBron James might be, and I think LeBron
LeBron
James
James
is
is
part of the.
now one of the first active NBA players to be a billionaire. That he's actually in the billionaire
Right.
club
So
now.
he's definitely going to be in it. I don't know how much. I mean, he seems like he's more involved in I mean, he built that school. Like he seems like he's going a different route. Even though I hope he
He
is.
right now his biggest thing, and I know this because I'm a Laker fan, so I hear a lot about the stuff he does now. Um, yes, he is into the school, like you said. He does give back to his community in Ohio and everything. But he's really into building up his what do they call that? Entertainment productions that he's doing. Like he did the new um NBA Jam, for example. He's doing more
Oh,
movies and more stuff that on that side.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
there's big money in that. I mean, a video game can be world. I mean, every people around the world play NBA 2K or whatever. I don't play many of those games. I play like Halo and Modern Warfare. But possibly, but Magic Johnson has something. I don't know how much of an owner he is, but I know he's involved in stuff like that. But
Magic Johnson was part of a group trying to buy the Broncos. I don't know if he was part of this group, but he
oh
was
wow,
part
for
of a group.
real?
Yeah, he was
So
part of
like, I
this.
mean, I don't know. I think over time we're going to see more minority owners, but it's probably going to take more teams of people to do that than just like one person, like Jerry Jones or the owner of the Mets. Is from what I've been told, the owner of the Mets is the richest baseball owner.
I don't know.
I don't know how when
I
you have the
assume with the
Yankees.
contracts I've seen, they have to be the richest people in the world.
Well, yeah, no, I mean that was confirmed by PTI, which is what I kind of base my show off of because that's like my favorite sports show
Yeah.
ever. Like I literally try to accomplish what they accomplish.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, no, but I am always down to have conversations about minorities and owners and just, establishments in this country in sports in general. Cause I mean, that's a big thing. I would love to see that. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, I think definitely Native American, communities can do
How
it.
do you feel about Amazon owning an NFL team?
I don't see a problem with it. It's they got the money to do it.
Mhm.
They're starting to become more employee centric.
Mhm.
Companies like that, they obviously know how to operate and have success. So if you have success to that much level, you can make it work with the NFL team. You just got to hire people that are going to do a good job. They know how to manage stuff, but they're going to have to hire professionals to help them manage it.
Yeah.
But I don't. Jerry Jones is kind of like the best thing for that team, but he's also kind of the worst thing for that team. So I don't want to see a scenario like that. I don't honestly see Jeff Bezos becoming like that or Amazon
Yeah.
becoming like
Well,
that.
he's been trying to purchase a team since 2018. He was interested in Seattle Seahawks for a bit. There was teams that he was interested in purchasing. I'm just curious, if
Yeah, Aquavision said NFL would block it. I don't know. I don't see a problem. I mean, I don't see a problem with Jeff Bezos being an owner. I don't see a problem at all with it. No, he's not a minority, but he's got the money to do it. I mean, I look at it, he can afford it. He knows how to run a business. I am more curious, like what I said earlier. What change is going to happen? Like, I want to start seeing change happen with these new purchases, with the community, with the teams, sustainability. I want to hear like how energy efficient the building is, or how we're going to make this team last for the next 100 years because of the changes we're making. We can't just be throwing money around. Money isn't going to fix everything all the time.
And to Aquavision's point, maybe they would block it because of the fact that the changes that Jeff Bezos and a company like Amazon would be making are too radical for them. It costs money up front to make those changes, let alone maybe some of the changes of paying their employees. You know what I'm saying?
So
They may not like. They may not want to do that.
So this is where the XFL can start to take off.
Okay.
I mean, Jeff Bezos could own 2 XFL teams.
He could
You know
probably
what I
own a
mean?
couple, to be honest.
In The Rock, he necessarily isn't a minor. Necessarily, it is.
He's a partnership minority owner of the league itself, not.
But I'm saying, like, as a person, I would consider him in the minority group.
In
I
fact,
don't
the
know.
2 people that own it, because he's partnered with a woman. I can't think of her name. I think she's a minority too. So
Exactly.
they both own
So,
it. Straight up.
honestly, I think that's where the change is going to start to happen. Because I mean, dude, I'm telling you what, man, I had season tickets to the XFL. It was going to take off. If it wasn't for COVID, it would be in its third season, 2021.
Yeah, I think it would be in its third season.
It would be in its third season right now. It would be happening.
Mm-hmm.
A third season. So it was going to take off, and it's going to happen next year. So I think that's going to start to shake up things a little bit because the XFL is going to be flooded with minority groups of people. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the poor man's NFL.
I want more teams.
Yeah.
If we go there.
Because the NFL, they got to protect that shield, man. They're always going to put the shield first. Yeah. They're always going to put the shield first, 100%. Roger Goodell they're going to take forever to do anything, forever and forever. We're only going to see so much shift in the NFL, honestly. Like it's an old league. It started from old money. There's only so much that's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of the same old. But XFL or the AAF league that was out 3 years ago, that is where we're going to see, unless we have like the Brooklyn Nets. Jay-Z is a huge acquisition. He moved the team. Mm-hmm. Who's their head coach? Is it a Caucasian guy or is it a what? I forgot who the head coach of the Nets is, but how much change have we seen there? I don't know.
Steve Nash.
Yeah, Caucasian guy. I'm just throwing out. I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm just throwing out stats, facts and stats, so because we're having a conversation. But it's still the NBA, and the NBA is a lot more player centric. Like when when they have social justice problems, the NBA is real big on that. They're quick to action. And honestly, that's just the way the NBA is gone. It's not gonna exist without that. But I think when it comes to football, I think the real change is going to be with new leagues that are starting out with minority owners and teams and employees, because it's starting out that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's the NFL is just, it's so big. Yeah, we can be changed, but we're not going to get it the same way that we're going to get it in the XFL.
Someone mentioned that the Bills are owned by an Asian woman. That could be
Yeah.
correct, but I want to see more minority ownership. One or two isn't going to make the change that we need.
Right. It's going to be very small. And at the same time, like, those people have a lot to do. I mean, how much
Okay,
change can they
so
actually
the
bring?
Bills owner's wife is Asian.
Oh, well.
The Bills owner is an American businessman.
Yeah.
His name is Terry
She's like the
Pegula.
first lady of the Bills.
Yeah, so
She
the
could
first
do a
lady of the
lot.
Bills.
She could do a lot, but he's making the decisions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's what I mean. I don't know how much we're going to see change in the NFL. I think they're trying to change. I think they're trying, but they just take forever. I don't know why they take so long. I don't think they're going to lose fans or support if they
Okay,
made
it does say that they are co-owners, so I guess you're technically right, but I don't know who's the.
Hey, I mean, thanks for the fact. Who said that? Was that Moss?
Hold on, I think it was Aquavision. Aquavision said that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for chiming in, everybody. We like, this helps us a lot, because
Yeah.
it's hard to just sit here and search stuff. You know what I mean? But I mean, like in baseball, we don't really see too many, like, I don't hear too many stuff going on in baseball to where we would need some kind of change. I mean, they're right now trying to figure out how to make the game not so long, and look how long it's taking. So, it's like these changes take forever. It took, the NFL had that big lawsuit with CTE. They paid $2 billion to former players for CTE. And now they're starting to teach heads up football and flag football. So the NFL is going to do everything it can to survive. So how much change is involved with that will be to keep the NFL alive. That's all they're going to. That's their concern, is to keep it alive, keep the billions coming in. And we have so many fans, dude, that love football. I'm one of them. I'll watch pretty much any NFL game. So, but like I said, as far as like real change, it's just going to come from other leagues. That's like the change that we're talking about. And it's good. It's kind of a good litmus test. When the XFL takes off again, it's going to be a really good litmus test to see what this can actually be accomplished with professional sports. Will it be as big as the NFL? Maybe. How different? I mean, it's already different. You can't kick a PAT after a touchdown. You have to go for 1, 2, or 3 points. Stuff like that. So it's already different. And I like it because you're going to get players that aren't good enough to play in the NFL. So like, you're going to be able to have this renewal of talent. That people get to go back and play, and that's good for the community. Because I mean, they're making, I don't know how much they're getting paid, but I bought tickets for $150 for season. I think it was like 5 or 6 games, or 4 or 5 games, $150 out the door, with tax. So I'm very interested and curious to see how this will go. And The Rock is smart, man. He's a very smart person.
Well,
The dude's
they already got themselves a decent TV contract. I mean, playing on the
oh
Disney
yeah.
network, I mean, that's actually pretty decent to be honest.
Well, exactly my point about the XFL. It's
Yeah.
now it's technically a little safer than NFL.
Mhm.
There's more plays because you can't just kick a PAT. There's
Mhm.
a lot of difference. There's a lot of change in that. And Disney, and I have I'm not a big fan of Disney because they have a lot of, I'm just going to say they got pedophilia rings that are still being caught from Disney employees. And then all the stuff that was going on in the movies when we were kids, the cover of The Little Mermaid, for example. So I'm not really big on Disney. They have the money though, to make things work. And I want to see the XFL succeed. So if it's going to be the help from Disney, well, so be it. I love Marvel. I love Star Wars. If I want to see anything like that, it's going to be a Disney movie. There's not much I can do about that. But I want to see the XFL succeed. I really, really do. I think it's going to be a league that does incorporate a lot of good changes, social justice,
In
safer
general,
football.
I want to see a secondary league just survive, so therefore we have more football around the
I
year.
know, dude. Imagine just like 2 months, like 10 months of football.
Well, now you look at it, you know, you have 1,800 positions. I want to say it's probably more like 1,700 technically positions in the NFL to take as a player. Now you have another choice. You can go to these lower leagues, and then you know what, come back even stronger and play in the NFL. You know what I mean? It's a little bit almost like a
And
farming system
now,
that baseball
especially
has.
with NIL,
Hmm.
dude, I mean, these kids are going to be coming out of college rich. They might make more money in college than they do in in the
And that's
XFL.
what worries me about the NIL. Will it ruin
So
the talent coming
it's
in?
already starting. It's already impacted it tenfold. You know, just look at the coaches arguing and yelling with
Yeah.
each other, and now it's, I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna see, but I think it's the NCAA is trying to survive. It's trying to hold on. The college football does not need the NCAA. SEC. I talked about this a couple weeks ago.
College sports don't need the NCAA.
Right.
The NCAA is a mafia.
Well. Moreover,
My opinion, not
college
necessarily
football.
fact, just my
Okay.
opinion. Oh yeah.
Softball. Rugby. Lacrosse.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at it. Who do you think's making money every time those things get televised? The NCAA is. Okay. The
Right.
players aren't getting paid for that
But
money.
they're
I mean, there's only like two sports they have the NIL agreed for: football and basketball, right? There's no other sports, I believe.
that get paid.
Yeah, for NILs.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think those are the
I
only
mean,
two.
you sound like you know more. I just know football. I haven't looked into it to see if
Hmm.
any other sports, but like anything that
Yeah.
has where you could get injured,
Mm.
I think you should have some kind of it's like, I mean, of course they get a scholarship, and they can get a fucking master's degree, a bachelor's degree paid for. That's a lot of
Mhm.
money. And you get experience and stuff like that. So, there's that, because I mean, I had a lot of help when it came to college. I graduated with less than 20,000 in student loans. For a bachelor
Mhm.
degree, that's really good. I know
Yeah.
people with more that don't even have an associate's. So
Mhm.
I was very fortunate, but I did my best I could, and that's why I did get a bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
Um, so it's gonna shake up the college system no matter what, but we need it to. I think they should be paid. I mean, dude, imagine how much money Tim Tebow made for the Florida Gators when he was there. You know, or what was his name? Noah, who was on the basketball team when they won 2 years in a row. and then the Gators were winning football at that same time. You know how much money was going to the University of Florida?
Yeah.
They need to be paying these players. These players are getting concussions. They're tearing their ACLs. Richard, what's his name? Robert Griffin III. He had I know he had at least one knee surgery, maybe two, before he even got to the NFL. These players are putting their bodies on the line. They need to get paid. So I was 100% for that. And I know there's going to be some controversy, turmoil, but it had to happen. I mean, it had to happen for the NCAA to survive, to keep it, because I mean, they were, like the Ohio State players when all that went down with Jim Tressel, and the quarterback who was like getting free tattoos. Gives a crap if he got some tattoos and he gave him some autographs. Who cares?
It didn't change the game.
That was the most ridiculous. I was so mad just hearing about it. I'm like, who cares? If the guy, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. That's not cheating. That's not scandalous.
Irving Figueroa says the XFL will be a football minor league for the NFL. Yes, I agree completely, and I'm perfectly cool with that.
Yeah, so am I. You're not going to get the same talent. You're not.
No.
Tom Brady is not going to go play in the XFL.
And in some ways, people actually would enjoy the XFL in some cases more than going to an NFL game. And I'll tell you why. Like minor league baseball, I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I like minor league baseball. It feels like there's more community fight between the communities, like more banter, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? I'm perfectly cool with that. I think it'll be more grungier to watch.
Oh, dude, XFL was awesome. I went to 2 home games and I had a blast. The fan base, I mean, Seattle loves its sports. Any sport in Seattle, the players are down for it. But it was great. It was great. The talent was there. I mean, yeah, it is the minor leagues of NFL, but oh well. I'm like, that's the only way we're gonna get it. We're not gonna get a better league than NFL. You're not gonna get better than that. You can have between college and NFL, and 10 months of football. I don't think anybody is gonna complain about that. I mean, we've obviously shown that we love the heck out of football. We go crazy for it. We're trying to make it worldwide with Germany and Middle East.
Personally, going to what Moss Sports is saying about maybe mixing it up with Canadian rules for CFL and XFL, I think the CFL and XFL should have a mixed league, and then the winner of
they
both
should have
leagues.
A championship.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think should happen.
That would be awesome, dude. Dude, the fan bases that would come out to that?
Yeah, I mean, that might fix some of the problems that the CFL is having financially too.
Yeah, if they took their best team. Like if the XFL champion goes and plays the CFL champion, dude, that would be almost Super Bowl.
Yeah, because you think about it. Not only are you having more games that are being played, but also maybe they can share that Disney TV contract that they have with them, and their games can be televised on. And when we're saying Disney Network, we're talking about ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and so on.
Yeah, that's all Disney. Yeah,
it's all owned by Disney. ABC. Yeah. I won't be even surprised in the future that we start seeing live sports played on Disney Plus. To be honest, I won't be surprised. Hulu already does
doing with
it.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime is now doing NFL. Disney's gonna be like, hey, we need to get in on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, the money is there. The opportunity is there. And I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to just see to start taking off. But I mean, dude, imagine if we had a CFL versus XFL game, dude. After a few years, that we're talking Super Bowl. We're talking Super Bowl money, Super Bowl views. Like, I would be crazy going for that game. That would be so awesome. Yeah, I mean, the potential's there, and it's gonna happen. And The Rock, he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He does.
Pretty successful.
I love The Rock. I love The Rock. I was always a fan of him when he was a wrestler. I like his movies.
I like his story most of all. I like how, like, we're even in through the show, Dwayne Rock Johnson or whatever, the show that's going from his childhood and him growing up and everything. I like the stories you hear about him and how he grew up and the life values that he's learned and gained along the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, he gets up at 4 a.m. every
Mhm.
day.
Guy's Hercules,
So
man.
hey, he like, you're not gonna outwork him. He's like Tom Brady, he's like Mark Wahlberg.
Mhm.
Like if you listen to their routine every day, it's get up early as hell,
Mhm.
do the same thing every morning, because they have their own schedule before they start working. But it's work, you're not going to outwork them, so they're going to succeed. Just the work ethic. The work ethic is there. I mean, the guy is in so many TV shows, movies. He was a mega superstar when he was a
Still is.
wrestler. Oh yeah, I mean yeah. Yeah, so man, 3 hours, dude.
Let's finish it up on Lamar Jackson because we kind of lost sight of that. I apologize. Apologize with that. So Lamar, my opinion is this. I'm all for Lamar if for the right price. I won't give up like 3-4 first round picks for him. It has to be a good deal for me. That's where I'm at with Lamar. Go ahead.
What do you think? What would happen to Tua?
I think he'd get traded, like I said, to the Panthers. That was a real thing. The Panthers, every time it was getting reported that the Panthers were in on the Watson deal, it wasn't for Watson. They wanted Tua. All right. And I've heard that from multiple sources.
Yeah.
And in addition to it is that he kind of makes sense with what they're doing there and what type of quarterbacks that they bring in. You know what I mean? I can see, what actually that they're trying to run there and how he would fit in. So I think that's that would be a team to watch out for in the Tua sweepstakes.
I mean, now that it's like out, they need to make a decision. I mean, Dolphins, you're either going to keep Tua or you're going to get rid of him. Stop bouncing around.
Well,
We've had too many quarterbacks.
technically, they have this season to do it. They don't have to trade for Lamar now if they were going to do it.
Quarterbacks, dude. Look. How many quarterbacks have the Dolphins had since Dan Marino?
24?
15.
Okay, that was much less than I thought.
So Lamar Jackson could be the 16th. When are we going to start making this work, man? We got to start making this work, Dolphins. We got to start making this work.
We got to pull the trigger. That's what you got to do. Like, maybe you don't do that.
I think
quarterbacks
Lamar Jackson would do well.
How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks or future Hall of Fame quarterbacks have we passed on that we didn't pull the trigger that we had the opportunity to draft?
Well, if you're gonna say
Tom Brady
from the Saints,
Mahomes,
we passed on Tom Brady.
Yes, we passed on Tom Brady. We had Mahomes. We have all these quarterbacks I can name off.
No way. We passed on Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we passed on Patrick Mahomes.
Stephen Ross. You need to sell the team, dude.
You know what I mean? All these people that we passed on, we could have had. And granted, some of these players got drafted later in the round, but we had a pick before they got drafted. So technically, we passed on them. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
we literally passed on the most accurate passer in NFL history. I can't think of his name. He played on the Saints. Drew Brees.
Yeah.
But that had a lot to do with Nick Saban. And that just had a lot to do with Nick Saban. He was worried because he had he just had shoulder surgery.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
here's the other thing. This is why you have to take comments like that or issues like that with a grain of salt. All right. And nobody here really has given me an argument on why I shouldn't take it with a grain of salt. Right. every time we talk about these Hall of Fame QBs, or even like the newer QBs, let's say Joe Burrow, right? Or Justin Herbert. What's to say that that person is going to come here to our team and put up the same numbers with the coaches and the coaching schemes that we have here? They may not perform the same.
That's
Oh,
exactly
you don't
why I
know
said
if they're going to be the same. Yeah, they may be doing really good over there, but is it really the quarterback, or maybe it's the coaching scheme, or the scheme of offense that they're running? You know what I mean? That's stuff you have to think
No,
about.
you're absolutely. That's why I said, we think? That's why I was asking you guys, and that's why I asked Captain Tom, because he's way more in depth, understanding the Dolphins' offense and defense and plan schemes when it comes to that. I said, would do you think he would fit in? I mean, Tom Brady could probably go anywhere and succeed, but that's not the same for all QBs. And you're absolutely right. They got to fit into the system. 'Cause it's a
Lamar, I
team
think, would
sport,
fit
it's a
in
system.
offensively, but I also think he would fit in with our head coach, based on the fact that our head coach believes in the players being themselves. And that's something I think he doesn't like with the Ravens organization. I think he butts heads with them because he can't really be himself. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. I don't really know too much about what's going on with Lamar and the Ravens and why they haven't signed an extension yet. I can tell you that based on what I've heard, his mom is like a hard-nosed negotiator. It's her way or the highway. That's what I hear. Color may have had a comment there. He almost came in.
Well, they didn't. They took away his favorite wide receiver and then loaded him up with a bunch of tight ends. So I
Yeah.
really don't think he's happy at all there.
And
Tell you
what
the
Jay
truth.
said,
I agree.
if Tua sucks this season, he's gone. Okay, I mean, I don't.
Well, I'm not even
disagree
sure
with
it'll
that.
matter unless. Excuse me for a second.
Color did also.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Color
I
did
don't really
have
think. I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about like, oh, it's so obvious that Tua is a baller and we get to the Super Bowl and win it decisively, then no, probably not. But I would say even if we get to the brink with Tua, we would still bring somebody like Lamar in. I don't know. Seems to me that.
I mean,
upgrade
I don't think
is
Tua's the
upgrade.
worst backup. You know what I mean? Or maybe even have a dual QB. I haven't seen that.
I
really
don't
work
think you
in
can
the
have
Ollie's
NFL.
right about Carolina. They did show. They have shown the most interest in Tua out of all the other teams.
Here's the thing. I don't think you can have Tua on this team as a backup.
No, he won't. He won't do it unless there's something we all don't know. Like Tua just genuinely doesn't want to be, the guy.
Yeah.
Then you're not going to be able to have him. He'll want to be starter.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I'm not really trying to throw you under the bus, Color, but Color did say that Tua would be traded before the season starts. So let's see if that actually happens.
I don't know.
So
you guys, I mean, I'm like the outlier for TFTG. Like I know sports, we talk about a lot of stuff, but you guys know the Dolphins way more.
That is the rumor.
I just can't pay attention to one team that same way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I just don't have it in me, but I can hang out. I mean, I can keep up with y'all, but
I mean, we would be on the hook for $8 million in dead cap if he's traded or cut after June 1st, and it's after June 1st. So
yeah. With me, I don't know I can't say I'm in the know. I know how to find information, and that's where I get my info, to be honest. You can ask Color. I scatter Twitter and the internet for anything. I even stumbled upon that thing we looked at on Saturday night with the gender change of all the quarterbacks.
Well, hey, I mean, if you get your information from so many different sources, that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
If you come on here and say, "Oh, I read it on ESPN. 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 I have seen," but nothing you got from Fox Sports 1 or the local. It's like I'm the same way, honestly. Like I try to go everywhere for my news. I just think we have the option to do that.
Hey, Tonk, do you want this guy as your QB?
I'm not answering that question.
What about you, Color? You want this as your QB?
No, thank you.
That actually kind of looks like I know this Brazilian chick, and that kind of looks like her. No, it's like
That's a story
not
from a different time.
that doesn't look like that. That's a good, like, that looks like a female. I mean, yeah, it looks like Deshaun Watson, but it looks like a female.
So
person.
that being said, like and share the video, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we've been on it tonight.
Go
Make
down the
sure
rundown.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's go with the rundown.
always
We're
starting
probably
things
going to
off
close
right
it down here in a sec.
with your man Tonk7, TMI Tuesdays between 9 and 10 p.m. on Tuesdays, if I can get to it. Then we got color commentary every Thursday, 10 p.m. late night color commentary. Every Saturday, we got late night exhale with my man Ali. He's always got a bunch of people on there. And then we got Capitan. He's always doing his thing Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. He's on here talking about whatever's going on with the Dolphins. He's talking about it. We got our own gear. We're partners with Fanatics. There's a link below if you want to buy some stuff. We got our own gear. If you are going to buy some stuff, I suggest you buy a couple things at once, so that way the shipping can be together. Because I bought a hat and I saw that just from experience, because I want to I'm probably going to buy a couple other things, but we got a flag coming. I even asked Capitan if the flag was going to be out soon. I'm not sure. I know it's going to be here. I know it'll happen.
I was going to show you the video, but I can't find it in back here. But we do have I think we do have it on YouTube somewhere.
I think you can order it now.
Yeah, there's like HB created a nice graphic with the flag. Let me grab it. Let me grab the
flag. The flag is available. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, let me grab the YouTube video that we got on it. That'll be the easiest way to do it. Hold on just a sec.
Because I was wanting to buy another hat, so I'll probably get the hat.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this or not, Tonk.
Cool.
Cap told me to show it to you, so you hadn't seen it. So hold on a sec.
Do it up.
Let's see.
That's pretty cool.
There.
It's nice and strong.
There.
Got the trucker look. I love trucker hats.
Go.
If I ever sold out on my career as an environmental scientist, I would be a truck driver.
Whoa, you're an environmental scientist.
Yes, I am an environmental scientist. I work as a consultant for construction companies to help them achieve more efficient build more efficiently, and receive certifications with efficiency. And I also do a lot of energy audits. People hire me to come into their house, investigate everything that has to do with energy, and then I help. I provide recommendations to them on how they can improve their house. So that looks like a piece of metal.
Yeah. So check this out, Tonk.
Oh. I mean, so that's sweet. That is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is available. You can order it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me that. Y'all should pitch in and buy it for me for my birthday. If all these people pitch in like $4, probably buy it. I don't know how much it is. I'm gonna look online. But that'll look good hanging back here. Maybe I could put it between the Gators. The Gators can kind of fight over it. And I think this is the first time where I put them facing each other. So I think that looks pretty cool. It would look good with that flag in the middle. That would look pretty cool, especially because the colors aren't too different than the Florida Gators. So that would be pretty cool. And we got a lot of subscribers. We got over 1,300 now. It looks like we got to 1,300 faster than we're getting higher than 1,300. But we still got lots of good content on here. I go pick these articles myself. Ali, and Ali and Color, when they're on here with me, they bring their own. And so, we're always down to converse about it. And I think we're pretty fair with our with our conversations. And no, it's gonna go in the middle of the Gators, dude.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
But thanks for chiming in, Moss. You've been there since the beginning, before the show was on today, dude. So kudos to you for sticking around. I mean, I know there's other channels. Some people listen to it in the morning. But you know, thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy doing this. Sometimes I say thank you a lot, say this a lot, but I really do. And I love the feedback that you guys give us. I love how the conversations you guys are having with each other. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. And yeah, so I just ran the rundown. So Capitan might be doing something tomorrow, but if not, Color be on Thursday. And then Ali, I might be in the mix with them, but you could always find me here on Tuesdays. So